to an end after a chemical exposure caused a large tumor to form in his brain. As a result, he is paralyzed on the left side of his body, legally blind, prone to memory loss, and in a wheelchair. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation built this hero a new smart home to help him live a more independent life. Help heroes like Jesse Clark. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
He's coming. Here he goes.
Surprise! Your table saw broke. Also, the warranty expired weeks ago, so you need to pay for a new one out of pocket.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Oh, and the replacement part you ordered doesn't fit, so it's completely useless.
What a waste.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Tug and Los until 10 here on Extra 106.3. 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms. Losey back in house after a trip up to Nashville, right outside of Nashville.
Good old Franklin, Tennessee.
It's so pretty up there.
The area where the South didn't surrender.
That's right.
That's what I learned.
Dude, it's beautiful up there.
It's great downtown area.
Dude, stunning.
Really cool area.
Yeah.
And it's good to be clean as well.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean good to be clean?
So very early on, Thursday afternoon, knocked out the show with you guys, jumped in the car, like 10:15, started riding up. And our first stop, the two girls were with my daughter and her teammate, both 14 years old. They were moving stuff around in the back of the car. And so when we get to the gas station, open up the back of the car, and my bag falls out. It had a full bottle of vodka.
Oh.
The plastic cap broke.
Oh, no.
My entire bag was soaked in vodka. Now, keep in mind, I haven't had a drop of anything.
No, right.
Like,
yeah,
this
all
was
broken on the ground.
This was the nighttime plan, right? Hey, my friend Logan, he's going to bring what he's going to bring, typically tequila.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring some vodka. We're going to hang out. We're going to go ahead and, watch some shows. We're going to do whatever we're going to do. Dude, all weekend, I felt so weird because I was like, I smell like a brewery. Like, I smell so bad. And we were just far out enough where I couldn't go back to the house and change.
Yeah.
So, like, right now, clean clothes on.
Yeah.
This is
Not
very
bad.
All weekend, I'm like asking other parents, can you smell me? Can you smell me?
Yeah, dude, that's tough.
And the worst part was I was having to use the Hampton Inn, the AC unit, to try and dry off my socks and underwear that were soaked, dude. Soaked, Jerry.
Good Lord.
Oh, it could have been whiskey. I mean, it could have been worse.
I know.
No stains with that vodka.
That's what my wife said. She's like, you know what? Had it been like whiskey or bourbon, it would have been much more distinct. But I spent all weekend just like smelling my clothes. Like,
Well, I mean, there wasn't like a little laundromat nearby. You could have jumped in there.
no, I mean, the first thing I did when I checked into the hotel, I was like, do you have laundry service?
Yeah.
They're like, no, sir, we do not.
Oh, that's
Since I didn't drive.
surprising. Yeah, right.
So then I was kind of
You're
stuck.
stuck.
So
Oh, my goodness.
Feels good to be clean.
Yes, I can see
So
that.
good to be clean.
Yeah, but the girls did really well in Franklin.
Yeah, both did very well. They were trying out for the SRVA regional team. They made it last year. Competition was pretty tough this time around. It's girls from Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they're on part of a regional team. And if they make the team, then they head off to Madison, Wisconsin to compete against girls from around the region. So this is like taking like your club team and then putting it on steroids.
Yeah.
So girls from clubs from all around the Southeast.
Goodness. Over the weekend, we went over to Greenville, South Carolina to see a friend of my son's who they've been playing ball together for a long time. And he plays for the High A Greenville Drive. He's the starting catcher for them, which is the high affiliate for the Red Sox. And dude, I've been to Greenville, but it's been years. It's much like Franklin, man. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The downtown with Falls Park right there up against Furman University.
They didn't surrender either?
I don't reckon so.
Okay.
No, things are still going there well.
I don't reckon so.
Yeah, man, dude, it is stunning. You forget.
The only reason I bring it up, because when we were in downtown Franklin, they actually still have a commemorative statue for the Confederate soldiers.
Yeah.
And considering what happened in 2020 and considering what's going on today, that's where I'm saying didn't surrender, didn't give up their history, didn't be like, oh, why don't we tear this thing down? Because it's offending people. Stop doing that sort of stuff.
Absolutely. You must stop. You must stop. I agree with that 100%. I was so disappointed in Dalton, Georgia, when they took down the statue of Joseph E. Johnston, who was a Confederate general that just camped there, and they took that down in 2020.
Stupid.
You want to go see some Confederate memorial stuff? Check out downtown Rome.
Yeah, Rome, Georgia.
Yeah, they didn't change a thing.
It's not even the fact that I'm trying to celebrate anything. What I'm trying to do is I'm just saying historical stuff does matter.
It does.
And so when you kowtow to these communist idiots who are trying to get rid of your history, you enable them to do more things, including, burn down an American city.
Like they're doing. And then you'll have the fools in the mainstream media. Like, sometimes I can't tell if they're just completely ignorant or completely in the know. It's one of the two. There's no middle ground there. They either are so dumb they don't know what's happening and can't read, like you and I and Dre and people listening right now do, or they are in on it completely. And I tend to lean to that way.
Well, what happens is within our media, and this is why you're here this morning. This is why at 6:08 you've checked in, because you want to know what's actually going on and you want to hear, at times, some hard truth. What occurs in our American media is a bunch of people that when they see something that happens to be a little bit edgy, they try and go, all right, what is the softest and simplest way I can do this? Let's talk about this just being people that are protesting.
Peacefully, even.
No, they're rioting.
Yeah, that's right, they are. But that's what the media said. That's what the governor's saying. That's what the mayors are saying. All of them. Us, peaceful. Don't believe your eyes and ears.
Here's what they won't tell you. They're brown. Send them home. They're not here legally. Now, why can I say that? Ta-da!
Yeah, right.
I didn't make the rules. You did. What I'm telling you is if you want to fly your Mexican flag in an American city and burn stuff down, if you're brown, go home. You're not here legally. Go home.
And it looks like an invasion. That's what I would call an invasion.
It's weird how habeas corpus was invented when it comes to the suspension of habeas corpus comes down to two things: insurrection or invasion. It sure as hell looks like an invasion of people that have gotten 9 to 10 million here in the last 4 years. And just because you want to give me some sob story about so-and-so's been here 20 years and they're here illegally, don't care. You go home.
I don't care anymore.
You want to burn stuff down? You go home.
And
by the way, even if you're here legally, then we lock you up.
That's right.
And why don't we actually treat this like, because we now have June 7th, right? I mean, we had a Jan 6th.
Yeah.
June 7th looked a lot more destructive than January 6th ever did. Why don't we reach out to AT&T and everybody else when it comes to their cell phone carriers? Track them all down, lock them all up, put them in gulags, right? I mean, that's what authoritarians do.
That's what they did.
Sure, Waymo will have some interesting data.
There you go.
Waymo, the driverless taxis.
Yep.
They were calling them over there just so they could burn them.
Just so they could burn them down. They were hauling autonomous vehicles to light them on fire.
The thing that I can't get by, and I'll always hate this, is the flying of another nation's flag as you're saying, I don't want to go back to that nation.
Yeah.
What the hell does that mean?
Oh, very simply.
No sense.
No. It makes total sense. And here's why. They don't believe California ever should have been in the United States.
There's a Chicano separatist organization that wants the entire West to be turned back over to Mexico.
They firmly believe, because of us having to win a conflict, that California still belongs to Mexico.
Yeah.
They're flying the flag, not because they're sitting back saying, well, I'm going to fly the Mexican flag while I'm in California. No, they look at it as like California's ours.
Yeah.
And it always has been. And it should be. So that's what you're dealing with.
But it's not. And it's not going to be. Because the nation will be protected. Donald Trump's already laid down the law.
You think I spent all weekend a little bit upset?
Yeah, I could see.
Smelling like vodka.
Smelling like vodka and pent-up energy.
You missed out on the fun on Friday with Trump and Elon tweeting up a storm.
I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast. First off, new Protect Our Parks. That was hilarious.
Yes.
That made the car ride very, very fast.
That's cool.
But then he also had Kash Patel. And again, you get like
the Epstein thing was an interesting conversation.
Interesting conversation of him saying, here's what you're going to get. But I did enjoy when they brought up, hey, they're sending stuff back and forth to one another. And he's like, yeah, I'm not getting into that.
I was like, that's out of my lane and I stay in my lane.
That's
I think that's the exact quote.
Well, I thought listening to him with Joe Rogan, he basically pointed out, hey, the other administration did this. This is what we're doing. But I thought he largely stayed non-political in a time when you have what's going on in this country. It's hard to not be political.
Yeah, it is, because you see this. It's so frustrating. And the Democrats are rallying behind this and further alienating people that don't vote for them and won't vote for them. They're further alienating regular dudes, even black and brown people that don't support this crap.
This is what is different to me. Verse 2020. 2020, you had the patron saint of fentanyl who died in the streets of Minneapolis, but it was largely a Midwestern town. And so everything that occurred still felt kind of Midwestern oriented. LA is this cesspool. If it happens in LA, San Francisco, New York, we largely look at it as like that's a coastal problem between liberal elites and what's going on there. This is not resonating with people the way that they believed it was going to be.
It's pushing them away, I believe.
Yes, I completely believe.
It will continue to tank.
Had this happened
the Democrat Party
in Omaha, Nebraska, maybe we got something to talk about.
Yeah.
And again, we'll be talking about this, but the fact that they decided, let's launch the color revolution from LA. I don't believe this resonates.
No, it doesn't. Think about who else is out there. You got Chinese spies. We know they had Chinese police stations out there. You have the cartels that are doing all kinds of craziness out there. You have communists, just out and out communists like the mayor of LA, that are saying we are going to respond to the American president and to ICE. We're going to respond to them. Well, what do you mean? Your city's being burned down. What do you mean you're responding to ICE and the president? It tells you all you need to know about that color revolution.
I thought that an attack on federal officials was an attack on the federal government.
That's right. That's what we heard.
I mean, that's what I was told.
Yeah, for the
better part of 4 or 5 years.
Up until this weekend, you were told.
And I would just say that when it comes to the visual images, January 6th looks like Sunday school.
That's right. And it really was, overall.
It's like, it was a riot. It was an insurrection.
It wasn't.
What's going on right now? And, man, the amount of people. You want to talk about having the uniform, wearing the mask. Mm-hmm. The mask is all over L.A.
Yeah, these people disgust me.
I was like,
let's stand them.
Let me get this straight. Let me go bust into different places in the interest of we're going to deal with ICE and what they're trying to do. All this is an excuse to tear up the neighborhood and steal stuff.
That's right. Yep. And rebel and tell America, hey, you're bad, you're awful. This is our response to you being bad and awful. That's what they try to make it out to be.
This is not working out for them.
No, it's not, man.
This is not working out
because it disgusts me, and it makes me want. It makes me just turn off my head.
Well, you don't want to bust heads. I do, but you'll come around.
No, I do. That's where you're
right. I have forgotten how much I really enjoy watching this stuff, because you watch for a while, and then every now and then you just get to see one of these rioters, one of these protesters, where they just catch one. Mm-hmm. And I was already planning on staying up late last night to watch the NBA Finals, but I was like, nope, CNN, give it to me. And I saw quite a few. I was refreshing my Twitter feed, so I get run over because he was trying to stop a speeding car.
Yeah.
Every now and then, there's somebody that ends up being dealt with appropriately.
Yeah. I'm just done with it, dude.
Legally.
I'm like,
done with it.
I'm done with it all. I have no compassion at this point. Just because it's too much. Dude, if a protest, you can legally protest. hold your sign up, make your chants, your silly songs, whatever it is you want to do. I just don't see regular Americans spending time in protest because they're too busy going to work.
And what's nice about this time around is there's not the specter of, like Los was saying, the patron saint of fentanyl haunting everybody on this. So we can just, there's no too soon on this. This is
it's a Maryland dad.
Yeah, who's back in the United States. And that's another story. I don't know if we got time to get to it here, but
by the way, this was a story in Nashville, as basically the state of Tennessee goes, so you were human trafficking
and child porn and also there's all kinds of things that he's going to be charged. And it's funny to watch the Democrats. Yeah, Jamie Raskin on CNN. We never defended him. We just were worried about his due process.
He was a human trafficker and into child porn and was beating on his wife.
His wife, but then sexually assaulting the women that he was trafficking,
which is pretty typical of what happens with coyotes.
Of course, it is.
That's what they do.
That's exactly right. So the Democrats, for just a split second, you saw, oh my gosh, Gabriel Garcia's back from El Salvador. How wonderful. And then they hear the charges and they're like, oh hell. Yes.
They're like, did you say child porn? Yes. And then they go, human trafficking, damn it.
Yes. And this is going to be hung around the Democrats' neck. That's exactly what Donald Trump is doing. Mm-hmm. He's going, these are who the Democrats want back in our nation. These are who were rioting in L.A. This is who the Democrat Party is and supports. They do not support you. They support this.
Oh, Gavin Newsom's, the ads against Gavin Newsom, they were all written this weekend.
For sure they were. Fool. He's a complete fool.
It'll be that and the men competing in women's sports.
Yeah, which is, and Simone Biles. Ha! The hell. The hell. Goodness gracious.
Just read the room. That's all I'm saying.
No, she can't. No.
Read the room.
She's been brainwashed. I mean, there's these old tweets, I'm sure you saw them too, where she was talking about other gymnasts and not having to compete against the men. She was like, I'm glad I didn't have to compete against that dude, because he was unbelievable. All of a sudden, that's bubbling back up.
8 years later, then it turns into, I'm a supporter of the trans community.
Exactly. I hope you have to compete against dudes.
Listen, I'm a supporter of the trans community up until you want to compete against my daughter and your dude.
Yeah, that's it. You live any way you want to. I don't support the lifestyle at all.
It's like, you want to sell me donut? You want to change my car tire? You want to buy me a beer? We're all cool.
Yeah.
Right up until I go, you're a dude, and you're trying to compete against women. That's all.
Yeah.
I just draw a line. Everything else is fine. You want weird tax breaks, things like that? All right, we're good.
See, I'm not even good with all that. I'm just like, you live and you be any way you want to. I don't want to be around it. I just have nothing. It's too much, man.
Welcome to Monday, everybody.
Mostly peaceful Monday.
That's right. This morning.
As an American city burns down, except it's one of them we go, is it really all that American?
Yeah, not anymore. Doesn't feel like it anyway. Respect Women's Sports Act with the Defense of Freedom Institute Counsel. Paul Zimmerman is up next on Extra 106.3 as we go out with Rage for the Machine.
The Morning Xtra has you covered until 10 a.m. Then it's Glenn Beck, Clay Travis, and Buck Sexton at noon, and the Kimmer Show taking over at 3, only on Extra 106.3.
As you head to the lake, be sure to play by current boating laws. Georgia law requires captains to provide life jackets for every passenger. If you find yourself in hot water while boating, make sure to call A Second Chance Bail Bonds. We handle bonds from the lake to the shore. We can have you or your loved one out of jail in a matter of hours. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT. Or online at atlbail.com.
This is Tom with the Honest Car Guy.
Hey, what's with all this honesty stuff?
We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly.
How honestly?
We guarantee that each vehicle we sell will come with a bill of sale showing what we paid for the vehicle. You'll pay what we pay, plus an honest fee. Guaranteed.
No gimmicks or tricks?
Nope.
Man, this sounds like a new way to buy a car.
Get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1 or visit honestcarguy.com.
An investment in your home is something that will pay off in the future, but it's something that you can enjoy right now. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. A beautiful new garage door, entry doors, and windows are an investment you can love every day, and they will increase your home's value, energy efficiency, and curb appeal. All Four Seasons, trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years, exceptional customer service, and high-quality work. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
Hey, Atlanta's Mark from the Safe House. I have a question for you. Am I the only person pissed off with the mainstream fake news, liberal judges,
and whiny liberal politicians
who don't realize why Donald Trump is president, and fake safes? And you may wonder, why fake safes? Well, a fake safe is like Joe Biden, cheap and ineffective. A real safe from Atlanta Safe House is like Donald Trump, tough, effective, and provides peace of mind when you need it the most. So drop by Atlanta Safe House and check out the largest selection of safes in the Southeast and see what a real safe looks like. So go to atlantasafehouse.com.
Living with everyday pain is like having a voice that always says, no, you can't do that. No, you better sit this one out. It's no way to live. So if pain is affecting you, see how Relief Factor can help get you back to life on your terms. One where you say yes a lot more. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor's unique formula of natural ingredients does not just mask pain, it helps reduce or eliminate it for good. Whether it's your back, neck, joints, or muscles, Relief Factor can help you, as it has for so many others. So call 1-800-4RELIEF and give Relief Factor's 3-week quick start a try. It's only $19.95, less than $1 a day to get your life back. Just go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4RELIEF. And see how you can say yes to more of everything you want.
It's June 9th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National Donald Duck Day. On this day in 1934, the lovable duck dressed in a sailor suit with a cap and bow tie, along with a very short temper, made his screen debut in The Wise Little Hen. He has appeared in more films than any other Disney character. His middle name is Fauntleroy, meaning child king, and derived from Old French. Also on this day in 1973, Secretariat wins the Triple Crown in breathtaking style, completing the 1.5-mile race in a record 2 minutes 24 seconds, shaving 3 seconds off the track record set in 1957, sending Big Red into immortality. Secretariat crossed the finish line 31 lengths ahead of the field. Born on this day in 1961, actor Michael J. Fox of Back to the Future fame.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
I'm CJ Papa. That's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Monday, June 9th. Governor Kemp confirmed at least one fatality from Saturday night's severe thunderstorms in Cobb County. Over 50 trees fell in the high winds. Thousands were in the dark Sunday morning. Crews worked Sunday to restore power. More scattered thunderstorms are expected later today. A newly renovated Cobb County Park officially reopened on Saturday after undergoing Phase 1 of updates. Paces Mill Park is located in the Chattahoochee River National Recreation Area. The park features new trails, parking, and amenities along the river. Phase 2 begins in 2026. And an Atlanta high school graduate is going viral after arriving to work at Burger King wearing his graduation medals just hours after the ceremony. A customer who said she admired his work ethic started a GoFundMe, which has now raised over $200,000. The student says he will use the money to go to college this fall. Today's weather, partly cloudy with scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening. Temperatures will reach the mid-80s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
Paul Zimmerman from the Defense of Freedom Institute joins us here on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Angela Morabito. And Paul, it's great to have you. Thank you for taking the time out of your day this morning.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, man, you bet. I was telling Angela this earlier. I love what y'all are doing with the Respect Title IX Act, but I am the most unlikely advocate for Title IX that maybe exist. I'm a boy now. I have one son. He's a college baseball player. So I don't have girls. I'm just a regular old everyday dude. So the likelihood of me being the biggest advocate, like I am on the show with my partner normally, Carlos Medina, who has 2 daughters, I understand why he's an advocate. But for me, it's very unlikely. Now, I'm on the front line saying, this is unfair. How can we do this? How can we allow this in the United States of America? And I'm so glad that people like you and Angela and the Defense of Freedom Institute is willing to take the battle to the playing field.
Well, I really appreciate that, and we can use all the support that we can get. So that's just great. I think this is for everyone. I think the Respect Title IX Act is not just for women and girls, but it's for boys as well in education, and that's really what Title IX was all about. It's a law that was passed over 50 years ago. It's supposed to protect equal opportunities in education without regard to sex. It prevents discrimination in education. A lot of people think that it just talks about sports and protects women's sports, and it makes sure that women get equal resources for sports, which is a very important portion of the law. But it really reaches into K through 12 education. It reaches into colleges and universities, and it makes sure that universities are not discriminating against students or their faculty members on the basis of sex in any different way. So it's a very important law. What we're trying to do with the Respect Title IX Act, as the name implies, is to continue respecting the importance of Title IX in education and make sure that it's fit for purpose going forward for the next 50 years.
That's fantastic. Paul, this is Angela. I'm so glad you could join us. But you mentioned that
Hi, Angela.
Title IX is so much more than just women's sports. And one of the things that this Respect Title IX Act does is put in place due process protections. And I want to talk to those more because I think so many people don't realize just how bad things can get when schools don't grant their students due process. I believe at last count, it was over 150 students have sued their schools and won because they were denied due process in Title IX proceedings. And yeah, they might have won their lawsuit, but their life has already been upended, in some cases by false accusations. So what can you tell us about what this model law would do to make sure schools don't do that and every student is granted due process?
So just to go back a little bit, and thanks so much for the question, I would go back to the Obama administration. And in 2011, the Obama administration issued guidance that was not subject to any kind of public comment. It was called a Dear Colleague letter that reinterpreted Title IX, and it basically ordered schools to not provide great amount of due process to students who are accused of certain misconduct, sexual harassment under Title IX. And so schools could just kick out professors, schools could kick out students based on their speech, based on their conduct, without providing them a fair hearing, without providing them appropriate standards of proof. The DeVos Education Department in 2017 reversed that. In 2020, they issued regulations that installed some of the best due process regulations that have existed under Title IX, ensuring that before you are kicked out of school, you get fair process, you get access to the evidence, you get an advisor who helps you through the process. In higher education, you get a hearing with cross-examination so that you can actually question the person who is accusing you of speech or misconduct that's offensive and harassing. And it also did away with a thing called the single investigator model, which is when the judge, jury, executioner are all the same person. So the person who investigates the allegations is the same person who pronounces judgment upon you and kicks you out of school. The Biden administration tried to reverse those regulations. Thankfully, they were not successful. So what we're trying to do, just a long story short, is with the Respect Title IX Act, we're finally putting these in the law as a permanent fix so that future progressive administrations can't mess around with these due process protections and take them away from students who are accused of misconduct.
There you go, talking to Paul Zimmerman, who is leading the way on the Respect Title IX Act with the Defense of Freedom Institute. Can you give me like a real world example? Because when I hear this, I mean, what you're saying kind of makes sense, but is there an example that you could tell me and our listeners so it puts it into a real world situation and it's easier to understand? I guess if that makes any sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I can give you the best example. I have some examples from litigation, and I think Angela mentioned that colleges were just getting sued left and right over the last decade under the kind of flimsy lack of due process protections under the Obama administration. So there were definitely instances in which students would be accused of they would have too much to drink. Two students would get together, and then their stories would differ about what happened next, late at night in a dorm room. And the problem definitely happens afterwards when a complaint is filed by one of the students. This is usually in colleges and universities. It can, of course, happen in K through 12. But one of the students files a complaint, and immediately the university or the college gets behind the student who follows the complaint, totally tilts the process away from the student, doesn't give them access to the kind of evidence that they need. They give them a kind of cursory process that doesn't allow them to even question the accuser. And so what we're after with these regulations, and of course, as I mentioned before, the Title IX coordinator who's in charge of compliance with Title IX at the university, and the investigator and the decision maker in the proceeding would all be the same person. And so what we're trying to get away from is that kind of situation where there is there's no real due process for either party. And I think what we want with the Respect Title IX Act is for everyone to respect the outcome of these kinds of decisions, because they know that there's been a fair process and everyone has had a right to be heard and have had a right to ask questions of the other party before someone actually renders a verdict in these decisions.
Yeah. I kind of remember something like this happening at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, where there was a young man that was basically accused, and then he was kicked out and never, ever got to tell his side of the story. It went to court, and I think ultimately that he was exonerated. And this has been a few years ago, but this is what stands out to me as the story that you're telling.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of instances where accused students weren't even sure what they were accused of. They didn't have the opportunity to even look at evidence that was going to be presented against them. If we saw this in another country, we'd be like, that's a kangaroo court. And it is. So, I mean, Paul, you're talking about a big change to American law. And I think one of the things that I've run up against in talking about the Respect Title IX Act is people are saying, wait, there was an executive order on that, or we already have Title IX. Why do we need this? And you talk about the Obama administration releasing their Dear Colleague letter, and then that getting repealed, and then there's a new rule. And I know Biden and Harris tried another rule. There is this tug of war going on. So what does the Respect Title IX Act do to put a stop to that?
Yeah, you make a great point. A lot of people probably think that Title IX is in a great place right now, and I think that they're right. I think that we're rid of the Biden administration's Title IX rule, which tried to interpret sex in Title IX to encompass gender identity. So it tried to get men competing on women's sports teams. It tried to get boys in girls' bathrooms as long as they identified as girls. And so the courts ruled against that nearly unanimously. In fact, basically unanimously, all the judgments went against them. And so we're rid of that rule. And now we have the Trump administration that says it's not going to enforce those regulations. So that's great. But what happens when the next progressive administration comes along? The tug of war, like you say, Angela, continues. And what we want to do is prevent that tug of war, finally put an end to it by putting this into law, have it as a law that Congress passes, the president signs, include the great due process protections, include a prohibition on men in women's sports, make sure that schools do not force girls to be in the shower with boys during the day. that's what we're trying to make permanent in the law with
codifying the law.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so important. Sorry, Tug, go ahead.
Well, no, I don't know if you saw my face when he's talking about
You were
boys being
shocked.
in girls when women are trying to shower, young girls are trying to shower. Like, what kind of bizarro world is that okay?
Yeah.
It's just, there's no I'm a common sense guy. Paul, you don't know this about me. I'm a 3-time college dropout. I everything I understand is on the most basic level, and that seems very basic to me. That a boy can't be in a girl's locker room while girls are showering. I don't know what bizarro world, what alternate universe, what Marvel movie universe, what multiverse, to take it to a pop culture reference, that exists and is okay.
Well, I think we live in a society where some people just want to engage kind of the fantasies of kids, or the, whatever you think you are. And, there's all sorts of things that even go beyond the traditional male and female, gender fluid, gender expansive, all sorts of categories. And basically the problem with those and Title IX, as we've been setting out in a lot of civil rights complaints that we've been putting out there under the existing Title IX law, is that these don't fit with Title IX. Title IX is about binary biological sex. It's about male and female. You can't discriminate against somebody because they're a girl. You can't discriminate against someone because that person is a boy. So this new concept of gender expansiveness, just treating everyone not on the basis of biological sex, but on the basis of what they feel like that day, is not what Title IX is about, and we're trying to restore that meaning through the Respect Title IX Act.
There's also a part of this model bill that would address the epidemic of sexual abuse in K through 12 schools, which is just the most painful topic I've ever had to talk about in my professional life. It's something no one wants to talk about, and I think that's exactly why we have to do it, right? I mean, Paul, you've got this incredible report out called Catching the Trash about teachers who are known abusers who just get shuffled around from school to school, from district to district. And I know the Respect Title IX Act would take some steps at the federal level to help combat this. Could you tell us a little more about that?
Thanks for raising that, Angela. I really appreciate it. The current Title IX Act requires schools to respond to sexual harassment and sexual abuse in K through 12 public schools. So if a child is complaining about sexual abuse by a teacher, if kids are spotlighting that abuse, then the school is required to respond to that under Title IX. Unfortunately, in the past, especially Democratic administrations, in the Obama administration and Biden administration, the Department of Education didn't do that much to force schools to respond to that kind of conduct. And we have really disturbing information that this kind of abuse and these kinds of complaints are rising in the last decade, that they're rising at alarming rates, and that this is really an epidemic in public schools. And let me just level set here. I'm not saying that all teachers are bad or are complicit in this or anything like that. There are so many great teachers out there. We want to protect them too, but we need to make sure that that bad employees and also students who are committing this kind of conduct are rooted out and that they're made accountable for this. So what the Respect Title IX Act would do is really try to get more information out there on what is happening in the public schools. It would produce a federal commission that would study the issue, that would put data together on what is happening and how to fix it in public schools, and hopefully that'll inform efforts in the future by the Department of Education or other agencies to, especially the Justice Department, I would say, to really crack down on the sexual abuse epidemic in K through 12 schools.
It's unbelievable. Paul Zimmerman from the Defense of Freedom Institute, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about the Respect Title IX Act, the importance of it, and the many layers that I guarantee you many people listening did not understand, did not even realize was there. Thank you, Paul, for all the work you're doing.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome, man. Welcome back anytime. Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra on Extra 1063. The Trump-Elon game is next on Extra. Get the app. It's the best way to listen. Download that free for Apple and Android. 6 o'clock hours brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, June 9th. The Atlanta Braves have lost 7 straight after being swept in San Francisco, including a 4-3 final yesterday. The Braves do continue the road trip this evening in Milwaukee. That's Algonquin for the good land as they take on the Brewers. First pitch is set for 7:40. It'll be Chris Sale and Aaron Savale on the mound. The NBA Finals are now tied at a game apiece as the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Indiana Pacers last night in OKC, 123-107. Game 3 is set for Wednesday night in Indianapolis. And the Stanley Cup Finals resume tonight with the series tied at 1 between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. The Panthers host tonight from Sunrise, Florida. Puck drops at 8 o'clock. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
I want to tell you about Christmas in July. You're like, Christmas in July? What in the world? Christmas in July is a program that they do at Central Heating and Air Conditioning, and they've done it for the last 5-6 years, where they take a nonprofit that they believe in, and they give $10 from every maintenance agreement signed up for by you, your company, through the month of July. That money goes to that nonprofit. The nonprofit this time around is Skyland Trail, leading the way in mental health wellness here in Atlanta, providing expert and evidence-based treatment to help people facing mental health challenges find a path to recovery. So they serve the community at Central Heating and Air Conditioning, and have since like 1947, and now are serving a nonprofit helping people in Atlanta too. A nonprofit helping people in Atlanta too. So it is a win-win for everybody. You get the maintenance you need on your HVAC, and then you help out Skyland Trail. This is a great program. I hope you'll participate. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
Advance and protect. What is that in retirement planning? Well, Coach Pete is here to explain advance and protect.
What's the advance and protect strategy? Well, it's a way for you to share and participate in the gains of the market. Not all the gains, by the way. You have to trade. The trade-off is you're not going to get all the gains, but here's what you're trading it off for. You're not getting any of the losses. Therefore, you really are advancing and protecting. Or if the market's down for 3 or 4 years, you're protecting and protecting and protecting. And when it decides to go back up, you're advancing. So if you're protected when down markets and going up in up markets, you really can't lose. And then you turn that lump sum you have into a lifetime income you can never outlive, and now you're in control of your life all the way through.
A comprehensive review with Coach Pete's local trusted advisor, Craig Chandler, can show you how to get in control of your retirement. 800-419-6164. 800-419-6164. Craig Chandler, Chandler Wealth Management, 800-419-6164.
Convenience is defined as the state of being able to proceed with something with little effort or difficulty. And at RBM of Atlanta, we embody this definition. Convenience is our middle name. Meet our Mercedes-Benz pickup and delivery service. It gives you back time and money. Does your Mercedes-Benz need service? If so, we'll pick up your vehicle that's requiring service from your home or office and bring it back to our dealership for those services. And once the services have been complete, we'll bring your Mercedes-Benz back to you. With over 100 appointments available every weekday, over 50 appointments on Saturdays, and more than 200 courtesy vehicles in our fleet, we're here to serve. We'll work around your schedule. We're here to save you time, energy, and money. RBM of Atlanta is a J.D. Power 2025 Diamond Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience. And we're proud to be Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964. Pickup and delivery service restrictions do apply. Ask your service coordinator or service advisor at RBM of Atlanta for details.
Portfolio analyst positions offered by Angel Oak Capital Advisors, LLC in Atlanta, Georgia. Responsible for residential whole loan investment, including evaluating whole loan pricing and maintaining and enhancing daily rate sheets. If interested, please submit resume to PAYROLLANDBENEFITS at ANGELOAKCAPITAL.com. Reference job ID 8133891.
Still need a Father's Day gift? Give Dad or yourself a 4-hour, hands-on, grill with the pros experience at Southern Thunder Barbecue School. We'll put you shoulder to shoulder with barbecue grand champions, mastering steaks, burgers, chicken, and more on a variety of grills. Program includes meals, recipes, and a step-by-step grilling manual, all for half the price of a full-day class. Grab this last-minute Father's Day bargain now at SouthernThunderBBQ.com. That's SouthernThunderBBQ.com.
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Extra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Extra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra on Extra 1063. Glad that you are here. 44741-1230. It has been a pretty spicy day already. It's early. So we got plenty more time to turn up the fire if we need to.
I am really putting my name on the line when it comes to the Oracle of Atlanta, when it comes to this segment, because I just finished pulling some audio from our sister station when I was on last Wednesday. Now the Braves have lost 7 straight. It just sounds like I know a lot more than everybody else over there.
That's right. I can't wait to hear this. Do we play it now?
No, I'm not going to bore our audience by me being right about stuff.
By the way, I checked out the audio fun bag on the that is especially cruel, and I loved every second of it. Diabolical.
I got a text from Jure, and he just said, I listened to that segment, diabolical. And all I wrote back to him, because there was a point where they were trying to take a phone call, and the caller had decided to while waiting on hold,
put them on hold.
To put them on hold.
Course, right.
So it just had like elevator music playing, and they went to it a couple different times. And every time they did, it was like, why are we on hold?
And why go back to it?
Caller on hold.
Like, you got burned once. Don't go back to it.
Okay, so David Holloway was running that. Now, David Holloway does Atlanta Braves Radio Network. One of the dumbest things I've ever had in the entirety of my radio history happened with he was running the board. And I'm just going to out him. I had a caller. I took him. I let him make his point, and then I cut him off. And I looked down at the board, and he's back on hold. And I was like, David, why is the caller I just cut off the line on hold? And he's like, well, he had more he wanted to say.
I love it.
And I was like, I don't know if this is going to work between you and I.
We may not be able to be in a relationship
See if you can get him an internship down here.
Try to get him squared away.
That was that moment I went, wow. Really, you actually let him call back, and you put him back on hold because he had more he wanted to say.
That's right.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a difficult one. Not that I was set up for failure working by myself without a producer.
Yeah,
whatever.
Right. Dude, Jure's our first official.
I know.
I mean, it's like 4 years.
I was going to say, I've been
official.
I have had my own show between 2 different radio stations for 5 years, and I finally got a producer.
Finally, F-I-N. A-L-L.
Like I told you, it's good having a proper villain to work with.
Amen. The pirate ship is afloat.
Exactly.
That's right.
I am very thankful for you, Jure.
Absolutely. We absolutely are. And the wind is kind of out of the sails of the Elon-Donald Trump fight, I guess you could call it, if you'll call it that. But I did see where Donald Trump had shared something on True Social, just talking about the chaos that is Los Angeles. It was shared by J.D. Vance, and then Elon Musk shared it all with just American flags in support of what the president had said. So, I mean, like, I never thought this was anything more than a lover spat at the absolute worst. Now, don't get me wrong, Elon turned it up a little bit with the whole Epstein thing, but maybe there was plan behind it.
Well, and that's where, and again, I'm putting the Oracle of Atlanta on the line here.
But it's like WWE back in the day, or NWA when the champ would hold it. I'm putting it on the line in the cage.
I'm putting it on the line. Loser leaves town.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so I have a question for you, and this really speaks to how time flies. Do you know when Epstein committed suicide?
I can't remember.
It's 2019.
Okay.
August of 2019 is when he
6 years ago
offed himself in the jail cell, or was murdered, whichever one you prefer. But I'm going to go with the Kash Patel, Dan Bongino version. All right, that's what I'm going with.
Yeah.
That means that the Biden administration had almost a full 5 years to take everything they had on this, that the FBI had, and to air it out. After going after Trump with 4 different bogus cases,
exactly right.
Do you really think that if there was him in the Epstein files, that they wouldn't have gotten that out immediately?
First thing I said Friday.
Yeah.
First thing I said Friday. That's why I knew this was a lover's quarrel.
That's why it felt like a game that's being played.
Right. Or even that, or just a lover's quarrel. Like we're so committed to what we want to accomplish that we've gotten into an argument, we've gotten into a spat, and we're just throwing things at each other.
But it felt like, as soon as I read that, as soon as I read the whole, Donald Trump's in the Epstein files, and then to immediately have people like my mother of all people, well, we need to get the Epstein files out there. I'm like, yeah, we sure as hell do. And that was when I went, wow, what genius this is. Now, again, I'm reserving judgment on this.
Yeah.
I think that it's more than likely a lover's quarrel.
That's me too.
But there is a part of me that goes,
understandably,
because of the understanding of the entertainment industry.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe this.
Well, I think what you're trying to say is if you get the Democrats to hate Donald Trump, and if Elon Musk, who they hated just a minute, if you're able to get them to all of a sudden say, yes, we need the Epstein files because they think Trump is in there, you're just playing the game against them.
There's a part of me that knows this from, of all things, having to be a Dallas Cowboy fan, which I'm being less and less of on a regular basis. But Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, general manager of the Dallas Cowboys, has always been like, as long as they're talking about you, don't care if they're talking bad about you, as long as they're talking about you. That is what so much of that felt like at the end of the week. Let's get this out here. They're going to all be talking about us. Now, it all went to the back burner because you have an American city that's burning down with a bunch of Mexican flags and a bunch of illegals doing their thing.
And communists.
And everything went to the back burner. But for that time period, for that 48 hours, that's all anybody wanted to hear and talk about.
Planted a seed.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a fair assessment. It's going to be impossible to know what happened for a little while. Eventually, the truth, what is it Miranda Lambert sings in that song, White Liar? Truth comes out a little at a time.
Which, by the way, I thought about you on Friday.
You run into Miranda Lambert?
No, but I saw Lainey Wilson's Bell Bottoms, her honky tonk, and I thought, Tug told me about that place.
Yeah, it's cool. She's so cool, man. She's one of the coolest ladies in all of country music. I mean, she came from a town of 400, never driven on the interstate before in her life until she left Louisiana with a little camper trailer behind her car, headed to Nashville, lived in it for 2 years.
I didn't mean for him to go full into Lainey Wilson. I was just a side note.
Well, I was just kind of giving you why I think she's cool.
I'm a big pre-Ozempic Lainey fan. She had a CDL for that dump truck, man.
Yes, she did.
I agree. But yeah, I mean,
anyway.
I was as I'm reading all this stuff on Friday, I just kept going back to this feels like a game that's being played on us.
I understand why, and a lot of people thought that. For me, it was lover's quarrel more than the game.
Yeah, I like your opinion more.
But I'm not opposed to that point of view because
I want fights.
Absolutely,
I want arguments.
But see, and that's this is something I brought up Friday with Angela. As I said, this is something different that happens with Republicans and conservatives. We're fighting in public. You get to see the dirt. You get to see how messy a constitutional republic can be. The Democrats don't let that happen. They don't do that in front of anybody.
No.
They keep it contained so nobody can see it because they don't want you to have the inside view.
The bigger your tent, this is what happens.
Yeah.
We have people with a difference of opinion.
And I'm fine with it.
And the fact that it's all based on spending, I'm like, please, by all means, let's go.
Right. It's exactly right, dude. I think it is so important for these things to happen. It strengthens the resolve. It gives us the best decision because we've fought it out and we're not sitting on it. We're not hiding it from the American people. Is it messy? Yes. Is it okay? Yes, it is. Just fine. That's the best way it could happen. Says the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3 Tug and Los until 10. Glad that you're here. When we come back, like in 1984, do not believe your eyes and ears. Listen to the party. about what's happening in L.A. Next on Extra 106.3.
Neil Boortz is only live on Extra 106.3, bringing you daily commentary on the biggest topics of the day. Catch him throughout the day or hear his latest on the Extra 106.3 app.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Retirement means different things to different people. Some folks want to travel the world. Some folks want to spend more time with grandkids. For me, I'm looking forward to spending more time with my guitar. Whether extravagant and robust or simple and cozy, every retirement needs a plan. You wouldn't take a trip without directions. You have to know where you are before you know where you're going. Master Plan Retirement Consultants have helped many like you plan for their own retirement. Not only does Master Plan help you create the roadmap, they join you on the journey. So whether you want to travel the world, become a pickleball champ, or just looking for a good porch, a sturdy rocking chair, and an acoustic guitar, remember to plan well because the destination is worth it. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
June is in full swing, and so is summer at Truist Park. The Braves face the Colorado Rockies for a weekend series June 13th through the 15th. And on Sunday, June 15th, the first 3,000 kids through the gates will receive a Braves teddy bear, paying homage to Snit Bear, commonly featured in the dugout.
Baldwin cranks one, flying back and way gone.
And then division rivals the New York Mets come to Truist Park June 17th through the 19th for their first matchup at Truist Park this season. The series includes back-to-back giveaways you don't want to miss. First up is the Spencer Strider and his dog Kipnis bobblehead, presented by Boehringer Ingelheim on June 17th, followed by the much-anticipated Usher bobblehead on June 18th. Fans can look forward to a live DJ playing Usher's greatest hits, plus an Usher-themed food truck in the Battery Atlanta before the game. Visit Braves.com/summer to find all of the fun and to purchase your tickets. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
You need a pre-owned car or truck, but you don't need the headache of searching for one. Spending hours calling dealerships, then spending half the day filling out paperwork.
Come on.
You need the Honest Car Guy.
Hey, this is Tom from the Honest Car Guy. We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly. We guarantee you each vehicle we sell will come with a copy of the bill of sale, showing what we paid for it. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee. Guaranteed.
Get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
A missing child rescued from a busy freeway in California makes today's Dean's List. The dramatic rescue took place when an 11-year-old nonverbal child with autism ran out of the supermarket in the afternoon. His family called 911 as soon as they realized he was gone, and the search began. Deputies and a sheriff's helicopter went in the air while the public was alerted through various broadcasting channels. An off-duty officer was driving home when she saw the child matching the description of the missing boy on the freeway. She pulled over and called his name to stay put. Thankfully, emergency crews arrived. Deputies Cody Green and Michael Moser leapt over the guardrail and ran after the boy. They were able to get to him and take him off the freeway without injury. The San Diego County Sheriff's Department put out a thank you to the deputies along with the Good Samaritans that worked together to find the missing boy and bring him home to his family. Janice Dean, Fox News.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law, vansantlaw.com.
Downtown Los Angeles declared an unlawful assembly area. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After 3 days of anti-immigration raid protests, President Trump has Marines on standby after sending in 2,000 National Guard troops.
I mean, if we see danger to our country and to our citizens, we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order.
But California's Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom says the president is acting like a dictator, militarizing the situation and causing chaos.
We have seen protesters, most of whom were wearing masks to hide their faces, clash with police, throwing just about anything from cinder blocks to hammers at law enforcement in response to ICE arrests throughout the city. It all started Friday night when agents captured what they are calling the worst of the worst. Some of the migrants arrested have been convicted of crimes ranging from assault to drug offenses. One arrest includes a gang member convicted of murder.
Fox's Todd Pyro. In Las Vegas, police are searching for the gunman who opened fire near the Bellagio Hotel fountains late last night, killing 2 people. A plane taking off on a skydiving trip crashed in Tullahoma, Tennessee. All 20 people on board survived, but some were injured. President Trump's new travel ban affecting people from 19 countries has gone into effect today.
Travel from 12 of those, including Afghanistan, Iran, Libya, and Somalia, is restricted outright and deemed very high risk for a variety of reasons, according to the White House, which cites either terrorist activity, weak or hostile governments, and high visa overstay rates. 7 other countries, such as Venezuela, Cuba, and Laos, face partial restrictions.
Fox's CB Cotton. A new round of U.S.-China trade talks happening today in London, days after President Trump's phone call with the Chinese leader, after the president accused China of violating terms of an agreement that had lowered massive tariffs on imports. America's listening to Fox News.
U.S. Air Force Technical Sergeant Jesse Clark's military service came to an end after a chemical exposure caused a large tumor to form in his brain. As a result, he is paralyzed on the left side of his body, legally blind, prone to memory loss, and in a wheelchair. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation built this hero a new smart home to help him live a more independent life. Help heroes like Jesse Clark. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
He's coming. Here he goes. Surprise! Your table saw broke. Also, the warranty expired weeks ago, so you need to pay for a new one out of pocket.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Oh, and the replacement part you ordered doesn't fit, so it's completely useless. What a waste.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Wake up with the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3 Atlanta.
Tug and Los until 10. Los is talking into microphone. Hello, America. He's rolling around. He's doing the wheel of chairs. No, I think it's great. We'll just split the microphone. It's fine. Doesn't bother me.
What is going on in there?
Well, all the chairs lean forward. They're all broken. Every one of them.
Oh, the rioters made their way into the studio this weekend.
They did, yes. Broke all the dang chairs.
This one's not much better.
Yeah. There's not a chair in here that sits correctly. They're all broken. I don't know how people break chairs, to be honest with you.
This one's leaning forward in a weird way where I'm like...
We just got a bunch of new chairs in here.
But not in here.
Not in here.
Oh, okay.
Not in here.
Yeah, I'm going to take the other one out there.
But yeah, so we're trying to find a suitable seat, one that's not throwing front office Los into the floor. Because it leans forward so far. I mean, dude, it's a very basic requirement.
Struggling on a Monday morning here.
Well, cities are burning. Los is rolling. Then we're
all right. This is not as bad.
We're doing the best we can.
But this is now the second chair of the morning,
and hopefully
we need to get you the massage chair, just right in there with a microphone.
I know.
Right.
It was wonderful. I sat in a car for 5 hours on the way up to Franklin and 5 hours on the way back. So, 10 hours in a car.
Is it 5 hours up there?
It was just because of a little bit of traffic. Coming back, it was not coming back, it was like 3.5. Like, there was not a problem. It was 5 hours on the way up just because of the time we left. But, yeah, like, the back was like popping. It was like popcorn. It's like the whole compression thing was going on. Now I feel so much better.
Yeah, we rode over to Greenville, which was... getting out of Atlanta on Friday was the worst part of the day.
Yeah, it's a trip.
Yeah, and, we left at, I think 2. You wouldn't think traffic would be that crazy.
Oh, you'll catch it.
At that point, but it was. And it took us forever. Once we got out of Atlanta, it was smooth sailing. On the way back home, it was, 25 minutes less.
Was this a baby-making trip?
No, it wasn't. It was just to see a friend's son who's playing baseball for the Greenville Drive. But look, I mean, if you can get in practice, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, we're crazy not to. It's a hotel.
It's training.
I mean, exactly right. I mean, you got to stay in good shape.
Right.
You got to stay in good form.
Just never know.
You don't have to get ready if you stay ready.
That's right.
That's right. Just get a good toe hold and hang on.
That's what I try and tell my wife. I'm like, just practice.
That's all we're doing.
That's all.
Let's practice. Because, look, if you want to be great, you got to practice.
As I said last week,
10,000 hours is what I hear.
That's right. Exactly. If you want to be good at anything, 10,000 hours.
Yes.
As I said last Thursday, the only thing that made me dangerous at one point was that I could get you pregnant. Now that that's over with, like I'm harmless.
That's right.
I'm like a little cuddly teddy bear now.
That's right.
Speaking of teddy bears, how was that drink?
Oh, yeah. You sent us the drink. So
okay.
Was that?
It has happened again.
So was that, were those Neil Boortz gummies or just regular Haribo?
Okay, those were regular gummies. Okay. Now, for the audience out there, what I have said that it doesn't matter what I order on any menu. What shows up at the table is the girliest drink on the menu. And we were at this place, Neighbors in Franklin. I highly suggest it. Fun sports bar, cool place. We're just trying to get some dinner in, or, my friend and I, our daughters, and grab a little bit of grub. And the very first drink on the menu was called the Franklin. Well, it's not like the very first drink on the menu is supposed to be the girly drink, right? I mean, it's the Franklin.
Wow, maybe.
I mean, normally the girly drink is somewhere down the menu a little bit.
I would argue if it's not an old fashioned and you're ordering from the cocktail menu.
I was going for the cocktail menu.
Everything's a girly drink.
It showed up. It had a little pink tint, and it had 3 gummy bears
on a
skewer that were stuck into it. And I took a picture and sent it over to you guys. I was like, undefeated every time, no matter where I go.
So good.
Again, first drink on the menu. I was like, I'll try. I'm in Franklin, Tennessee. I've never been to Franklin, Tennessee. I'll order the Franklin.
Yes, sir.
Girliest drink at the table.
Yeah, they got them in Sylvan Park, Germantown, the Gulch, and then Franklin. So this is I guess like a kind of a local chain.
Yeah.
It's
a local
awesome.
place.
I've never been.
Yeah, it was cool.
I've been to Nashville 10 million times. I've never been.
It was very friendly. In fact, we went over there and we watched Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals, which the fun part about that, Jure, so there was no seats in there. And me and my friend Logan ended up just meeting a couple dudes. We're like, hey, can we just sit at y'all's table?
Hey, can we sit with y'all?
And they're like, hell yeah. Before
Not with that girly drink.
We're all taking shots. We're all high-fiving. We're all screaming because, it was an intense match. I mean, that game was crazy.
Yes.
What was it, double overtime, whatever it finished off at.
5 goals in the first period.
Oh, my. Tug, we went to the restroom. Like, I went to get up and go use the restroom. I came back.
Twice.
It was almost 3 goals in the span of when I just went to go use the restroom.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
We were easing through because it was before the game. The thing in Greenville that's so amazing, there's a hotel that sits directly in front of the little stadium floor of the West End. And you walk out of the hotel door and walk across the street and walk right into the stadium.
Cool. Nice.
It's almost like a mini battery a little bit.
Yeah, like its own small.
They built up around it. Yeah, and when they built this, it was in a rough part of town. They were saying, man, this is a bad idea. Who's going to come down here? Dude, they have such a great crowd for high A baseball every night. So my friends, they go, obviously their son's there, so they go as much as they possibly can to see him play. But we went down the way, had some barbecue before the game. Went in, watched the game.
Did you have a rib?
Yeah,
How much for a rib?
$250. Yeah, so we had a rib, and but it was cool. They do a great fireworks presentation.
That's cool.
We were treated like special people because we were with the player. We got to go down on the field and watch the fireworks. It was nice and cool. And then afterwards, we did tequila flights at another little bar around the corner.
Okay.
It was awesome.
I almost feel bad when I go to a Stripers game because the Gwinnett Stripers do it as well as anybody in minor league baseball, to the point where at times I feel like it's way too professional. Like, part of what happens with minor league baseball is that you're like, this is professional, but it ain't that professional.
Dude, but I think all of them are kicking it up a notch because the drive's the same way. And the Stripers have Adam Baum, our friend Adam Baum, that works for 680 doing high school football coverage, and he is extraordinary. He's like the Mark Owens of
that facility.
Yeah, of the Stripers field up there. They do great work, but let me tell you, those tequila flights were so dang good. Holy cow.
Good tequila this is something that I've learned.
People don't know this.
Yes. Good tequila is a good time. Bad tequila, everybody's had a bad tequila night. But good tequila, you just sip on it. You enjoy it like whiskey.
That's what this was. And it was so enjoyable.
So my friend Logan he's the guy that it's hard to buy the tab. Because while you got, let's say, like, for instance, I'll be like, let me get a Tito's and Sprite.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's like $8, $7, $8, depending on where you're at. He drinks a really nice tequila. It's like $40 a glass.
Yeah. So like Clase Azul or 1942, something like that. Yeah.
And so every time I'm like, hey, I'll get that one. He's like, dude, my drink was like 5 times what yours was. Yeah. And so he does that a lot. But he poured me one on Friday night.
Did you enjoy it?
Man. And I'm like, we're just talking about like just tequila rocks.
Yeah.
So good. Just listen to some live music. It was so chill. Like it was a perfect bedtime story.
Dude, it was great. Now, I came out of there unsteady. It was not for fries like that, but I mean, I was weaving.
There's something different about tequila. Tequila is a special kind of
it's like
unsteady.
Fighting Mike Tyson a little bit. You just and you're like, wow, that jumped out at you.
But good tequila puts you in a good mood.
Absolutely, and it did.
And bad tequila puts you in the other way.
Dude, you can tell bad tequila quick, and you just kind of, I'm out. I don't want any part of that. Dude, this was so delicious. Mm-hmm. So delicious. And I compared it to sipping on bourbon because I like to do that occasionally, too. I don't want to try to get too crazy out of hand, but yeah, let me tell you, I couldn't have rode a bicycle. There was not a chance of that happening.
Yeah, Logan likes the Reposados.
Oh, wow. See, I don't even know the names of them. I just know.
So the crazy part about it is that we started to see that there's a class action lawsuit.
Oh, Lord.
That's going on with some of the tequila companies where they were putting in some water into their product.
Oh.
And I immediately told them, I was like, dude, somebody owes you a lot of money.
I mean,
I was like, they owe you a lot of money.
A grip of money. And you better go get signed up for that class action lawsuit. Although those, usually when you sign up for those, they give you $11.
Yeah, or like 28 cents.
Yeah, he's probably, $1,000 in, getting screwed with water and going to get $11 out of it, or 11 cents.
Yeah, he likes the Casamigos, but like,
it's good stuff.
The high end of like their brands.
I like I said, I have no idea. My buddy knows. He understood what he was ordering. I had no idea. I was just like, tastes good.
Here, take this flight. Here, enjoy. I'm like, thank you.
Yes, I
did the same thing. I was like, it's in ice. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's do it. Now, alternatively, we all had good weekends. Los Angeles, not so much. The things that are happening in Los Angeles.
I'm on fire.
Exactly.
Probably some tequila involved.
Yeah, right. See, I wish I could blame it on that. I wish I could say it was just people acting crazy because they're drunk. These are communists that are setting the city on fire because they hate the country.
This is an operation bought and paid for.
That's right. That's why you have stacks of bricks, and they were showing them on the news. I mean, even as of 6:02 this morning, even CNN has stopped calling them peaceful protests.
See, in 2020, like there was an emotional aspect because St. George Floyd, when he died in Minneapolis, you were supposed to care. Well, look at this man. He died in police custody, and you saw it on video. And in order to be in good standing with the rest of society, you had to be like, yes, I care so much.
Right. Yeah.
Like, he's a drug dealer. Yeah. All right?
You can't tell the truth.
He had an overdose.
You couldn't tell the truth then.
All right, that's all. Now, when I was telling the truth, that's how I ended up here.
That's right. So exiled down.
When the rest of the sports guys are like, did you really say that about St. George Floyd, the patron saint of fentanyl? I'm like, well, yeah, I guess so. But to see what happened over the weekend where it was the same MO, it was the same play from 2020. Here, we're going to send bricks down to certain places. We're going to pay through USAID, but now it's the NGOs, basically, that are now funding all of these activities. They are communist organizations that are being shown up in order to start a color revolution. And that's it. That's all. We know the playbook. So that's why I think it's not working the same way as they thought it would, like it did in 2020. To me, this is a desperate attempt by the far left. This is a desperate attempt by the communists to stay relevant.
And they're in favor of illegal immigration. And the people that ICE were going after are murderer, rapists, pedophiles, just the lowest of the low, the sickest of the sick. And that's who these people and the Democrats, calling it mostly peaceful, are backing. They're not backing you. They're not backing regular folks that live in California, which regular folks, if you still live in California, I know it's beautiful. Get out.
The weather's nice.
Get out. Yeah, okay. But you can't see the weather because there's smoke and you need a gas mask because people. And have you seen the video of the cop cars being pelted by bricks
from over the overpass?
From the overpass.
Lime scooters too.
Yeah, this is how disturbing this is because it is how do we kill? It's not how do we protest. Protest is holding signs. This is how do we maim? How do we destroy? How do we kill and get away with it?
Well, it's strange that people that are here illegally are acting illegal.
Right. People that have broke the law to get here are breaking the law.
Really weird.
Odd when it works.
And then, of course, the left tried this over the weekend, and it doesn't really work. You end up with the family that shows up on Instagram where Dad's been here for 20 years, and here are all my kids, and it's really sad that we're doing this. You all get to go.
Everybody's got to go.
All right, everybody got to go.
That's why I wasn't upset about the girl up in Dalton. That's where I'm from. And let me tell you, many of my friends feel very differently. They've been lighting up the Facebook page still about that story. At this point, we have to have a full reset. I mean, a full reset. It's just we have to sever it and then start it over, maybe. Start it over with some sort of organization, some sort of rule, because you can't, there's no fixing this. That's not fixable, Los.
No, and when you get these scenes that are out of California, when you get these protests against what ICE is doing, you wonder, does it really help to steal flat screens?
I can't tell that it would.
Like, I'm so angry at deporting illegals.
Then I got myself a new TV.
I need to get myself a new pair of Nikes.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to need shoes in that riot.
I guess
you might as well get new, crisp, fresh-looking sneakers.
I guess that was the way, as far as social justice, how I get even with this administration. I need to get myself some new, fresh kicks.
I love how
dress for the job you want.
I love how Kamala Harris and people like her say, that bringing the National Guard in is escalating this. It's already escalated. What do you mean?
What do you mean? Have you not noticed the fires?
Yes. What part did you miss of the escalation as it was happening?
This is a desperate attempt by the communists to remain relevant. This is, and I thought, what's his nuts who runs the Persistence? I thought what he put out there. Thank you. I thought what he put out there was really smart. He showed you what it basically is, the evacuation of California, New York, a lot of these different places, where they're going to lose seats. In the 2030 census, they're going to lose as many as 4 to 7 seats in Congress. This is what this is about. They're trying to make sure they hold on to every illegal they have brought in to maintain their power.
They see Donald Trump chipping away at their power base and taking away everything that they've built in the last 4 years.
And they're playing into your emotion.
That's right. They want you to feel bad. They want you to feel sorry.
You know, Jesus wouldn't get rid of these people.
But even more than that.
You know, Santa Claus wouldn't do this.
Right. But they want to play on your emotion because they want you to see the one guy that is going to get swept up in this and you feel bad for him. Sure, that's fine. However, again, you have to have a full reset. There's no fixing this problem without cleaning it out first. It's almost like, remember the Chaz? Remember the
in Seattle.
Yeah. What did they have to do?
They had the autonomous zone.
Yes, they had to clear it all out. They had to take it all apart, get rid of it all, and then reset to some sort of normalcy.
We were too busy in 2020 to get into this. We're not too busy right now. I am looking forward to this administration actually looking into how the dollars get spent with this stuff and going after those organizations and making them liable for what is going on.
Yeah. Karen Bass, just starting with her, since she is trained by communists, by an organization based in Cuba, she was trained to do this. She knows what she's doing.
The mayor of the city.
Yes, Mayor Bass, an absolutely trained communist. That's what the people of L.A. elected. And when she sees this, it doesn't surprise her at all. She's been training for this her entire life. Go look up her history. Her history is anarchy, communism, and chaos, rioting.
So Mike Benz had this over the weekend. He pointed out how Karen Bass spent 6 years on the board with NED. And you're like, what is NED? NED is a CIA cutout. Remember when we talk about when it's too dirty for the CIA, they go to USAID. That's how it was. But this organization, NED, because again, if it's too dirty for the CIA, they got to find it. They got to fund somebody else to do it. Specializing in starting riots and street protests.
Exactly right. If you think what's happening is surprising to the mayor, it's not. She embraces this. This is her thought. This is how we bring the capitalist America to its knees and turn it into what we want it to turn into, which is a socialist communist nation. AOC said it at the beginning of the year. If the United States falls, it's fine. Something else can spring out of it.
I believe that when it comes to Karen Bass and a lot of these other people, they didn't believe the optics were going to be this bad this quick. I think they were looking at street protests, and we're all going to hold up our signs. We're all going to be wearing our mask and power to the people and all.
Summer of love.
They had no idea it was going to turn this badly, this quickly. And I think that is why they're starting to pull this stuff back. Suddenly they're like, so about that National Guard, yeah, come on in. We need a little bit of help here. They're actually attacking our police officers now. Those aren't members of ICE. This is no longer about protesting against what ICE is doing. It's now going after anyone who's government, including the police officers.
It never had anything to do with ICE. It never had anything to do with deporting people. It was, how do we turn this into a zoo? How do we turn this into chaos to be anarchists?
They let that dog off the leash, and it's biting them back now.
Yes, it is. And it does not resonate with the American people. It doesn't resonate with you, doesn't resonate with me or anybody in this room or on the show. And now they are getting exactly what they asked for, to the detriment of an American city. When we come back on Extra 106.3, the Dems got the talking points on who's to blame for their poor ratings. I bet you can't guess who it is. Next on Extra.
America drives the world economy. And with ongoing global trade deals, tariffs doing their job, and inflation dropping, we've forced the world to step up. So don't let the mainstream media spin it to you any differently. Get the news that matters to you from Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Well, hello there. It's Carlos Medina. You can call me Los. We're totally friends like that. And let me tell you about some other friends of mine. That would be Howard Brothers, where you can get yourself a Walker mower. If you haven't noticed, and if you put your hand out, basically you will notice all the rain that we're getting. And when that rain comes, well, then your grass goes crazy. So what I'm letting you know is take back your time. Take back your time with a Walker mower from Howard Brothers. Amazing cut quality, tight maneuvering, all-day comfort. Walker turns mowing from a chore into a choice, one that you don't mind making. Spend less time sweating out there. Get behind that mower. Get your time back with a Walker mower. It's going to keep things moving for you. Find yours at Howard Brothers today. They've got the best machines in the business ready for you, because the grass is always greener when you take care of it with Walker and Howard Brothers.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPsETC.com.
A golf instructor who knows technique can improve an aspiring pro swing. But one who really cares can help transform a career.
There he is, your new champion.
When you team up with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
Fox on Tech.
Today's the day to find out what's new in Apple World. Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference begins today. It is the yearly event in which new versions of operating systems and Apple's core apps and services are unveiled so that developers, the people who make the apps, can get started on updating theirs and conform with new changes or make use of new features. Expected today are the new versions of Apple's iOS, the software that runs iPhones, along with iPad OS, Mac OS, Watch OS, and even Vision OS, the software behind Apple's Vision Pro augmented reality goggles. One big rumored change is the version numbers for the operating systems. Apple is expected to stop numbering them with their sequences and start using model year style designations. So instead of getting iOS 19, we might be getting iOS 26. Apple is said to be doing this to make all systems have the same numbers. With Fox on Tech, I'm Eben Brown, Fox News.
It's Fox Wheels.
Getting rid of the $7,500 federal EV tax credit in President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill that's working its way through Congress could likely lead to a drop in EV sales and production with automakers like Hyundai and Ford, but not expected to impact sales at Tesla. That prediction from automotive expert Lauren Fix, who tells Fox Business.
People buy Teslas because they like the product. They want an electric car. They don't want to deal with dealers. And that's where Tesla really shines. They know what their customers want, and those that like Teslas will continue to purchase that product.
If the drop in tax credit incentives are passed and signed into law, buyers would have until the end of the year to take advantage of the $7,500 new vehicle tax credit, a $4,000 used EV tax credit, and a $1,200 electric charger credit. Currently, EVs account for about 8% of U.S. auto sales. That's Fox Wheels. I'm Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Monday, June 9th. Governor Kemp confirmed at least one fatality from Saturday night's severe thunderstorms in Cobb County. Over 50 trees fell in the high winds. Thousands were in the dark Sunday morning. Crews worked Sunday to restore power. More scattered thunderstorms are expected later today. A newly renovated Cobb County Park officially reopened on Saturday after undergoing Phase 1 of updates. Paces Mill Park is located in the Chattahoochee River National Recreation Area. The park features new trails, parking, and amenities along the river. Phase 2 begins in 2026. And an Atlanta high school graduate is going viral after arriving to work at Burger King wearing his graduation medals just hours after the ceremony. A customer who said she admired his work ethic started a GoFundMe, which has now raised over $200,000. The student says he will use the money to go to college this fall. Today's weather partly cloudy with scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening. Temperatures will reach the mid-80s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
7 o'clock hour is brought to you by Van Sant Law Group. If you're in an accident, make the right call. VanSantLaw.com. Los back today from being in Franklin, Tennessee. I was over in Greenville, so it was a good weekend had by all. And I
made a mistake.
This morning or when?
No, during the weekend. I was just telling you.
You fall into a trap and ended up in a protest throwing bricks?
Not this time.
Oh, yeah. That's better, because apparently a lot of people have fallen into that trap this week.
My friend and I made it a point to go to Nashville from Franklin. We're like, let's just take the trip in.
Yes.
And it slammed like it was crazy.
Yeah.
And we were riding up the elevator over at Kid Rock's, and a couple was like, are you in town for the CMAs? I'm like, the what?
CMA Music Fest, man. Biggest fest in
it was.
Biggest
like
festival
the entire
in Nashville.
Street. Like, and now the cool part was it poured. So they shut down all the shows when it came to Friday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
But man, that place was like, it's normally packed. It was like a different level.
Yeah, it's next level during CMA Music Festival. And then that ramped back up because there is like every artist that I've ever heard of, and aspiring artist, independent artist from Georgia, everybody's there because like 500,000 people come to CMA Music Festival.
That was the cool part. The amount of groups that we saw play in the middle of the afternoon, it was a different level. Like a lot of times you'll see somebody who'll come through, they have their guitar, they play, and you're like, all right, that's cool.
That's good enough.
Man, they were like really good. Even like Friday afternoon, like the 11:30 show was really good.
Dude, it's big times. Then you go over to Nissan Stadium, which is open. You don't even need a ticket for it. You just get in there. And it is the biggest stars of all country music that light up the stage. I showed a picture to Los, is what brought this conversation up, and it was of Brandon Lake, the contemporary Christian artist, who has a song out right now with Jelly Roll, one of the biggest physically and star power wise. biggest artists in all of country music, and they over Nashville and over Nissan Stadium, they were performing, and they were having church, and they put a big old cross up on the stage. I mean, because Jelly's really dialed into his faith, but he still smokes a lot of weed. I mean, that's between him and
well, God put it here for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
It's of earth.
Yeah, it's right. Exactly. I'm not casting judgment. I'm just saying that's just kind of his persona. But you have juxtapose Nashville, and going to church, and L.A. just going to hell,
going to bricks.
Yeah,
the cross that they put up in the sky with the drones, that was pretty cool, man.
Really, really cool. But that's what I'm saying. Like real Americans, Los being one of them. He didn't even know he was showing up to the music festival.
No idea.
He was up there with his daughters. But as I'm saying, like, so he's up there, wholesome, taking care of his daughter, giving her an opportunity. Working to make sure that she has the chance to excel at the game that she enjoys, and maybe that'll pay for college one day. Hopefully, probably will pay for college one day. And then all these people there just to hear country music because they love it, and just stars and stripes everywhere. Is just a very patriotic. I've covered it many times over the years.
Couldn't have been more different than what we saw on the West Coast.
That's exactly right, dude. It's the exact opposite, and that's why the American people are fed up with that bull crap that's happening out there, and nobody supports it. We all support your ability to go out and protest. That's not protest. That's riot.
Well, it goes back to rule of law. Very simply, the civil society depends on rule of law. And when you are here and you've broken the law and you don't have any respect for the law, that's why you get LA. If you were to tell me, all right, tell me about the communities that continue to riot, why is it always LA? Constantly. Over a 30, 40-year period, tell me about American City that has rioted more than LA.
I can't think of any. Everything that comes through there is always communist. It's always socialist. It's always
did you
leftist.
not get the TV the last time around?
Yeah.
Like, what do you need?
Yeah, what do you need to steal this time?
Maybe go to work. Or if you happen to be here illegally, maybe go home.
But the thing is, it's just about creating instability. It's just about creating chaos. It's just about being detrimental to the country and hopefully overturning the Constitution, overturning the government. That's what it is. It's anarchy. It has nothing, like there are people there that have nothing to do with the protest or the leftists. They just see an opportunity to steal, and they're going to.
Well, that, and so what the color revolution always demands, you're going to have your bought and paid for communists that are there to cause trouble. Like when we think about what happened here in Atlanta with Cop City, you had your bought and paid for Antifa members, and they were hoping that it would draw a bigger group of people that would join them, and it just never did. It never became critical mass. It was one of those where, you had like 20, 30 people at a time, and they would go tear some stuff up, and all right, that's what they would do. But it never turned into 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. What the color revolution demands is that you've got your bought and paid for group. They're here because they're taken care of. They believe in communism. And then they're trying to draw thousands of more people in to get free stuff.
That's right. How do we create the most chaos, the most violence as we possibly
can? Get everybody excited.
And I said this earlier, it's like a bit of 1984, and the fact that you can't listen to your eyes and ears. Where have I heard that before? Seems like Trust the Science. What else?
It was like 2020, 2021.
Somewhere around in there where they said it was mostly peaceful protest and the shot cures all.
They did the same thing on MSNBC and CNN this weekend.
That's exactly
right. Mostly peaceful protest.
Mostly peaceful. It wasn't until this morning that CNN finally broke ranks and said, no, I guess it's not mostly peaceful. Yeah, you think? But
Hakeem Jeffries, you think? The fire's not giving away?
Yeah, what is the dead giveaway? Was it the bricks off the top of the bridge? What kind of craziness is this? But Hakeem Jeffries, man, he knows what's causing the problem. It's not the protesters. It's Donald Trump.
This is the awesome part about this. Given how bad the numbers are for the Democrats, he's asked, like, your leadership. And remember, he's one of the ranking members. Him and Chuck Schumer, they are the guys in Washington. And yet they only have one excuse for what's going wrong.
Politics of the moment, Leader Jeffries. When it comes to Democratic Party voters, they are frustrated. They want you all to have backbone. They want you to have a spine. CBS News polling shows 66% of them are frustrated by the way their party has handled the administration thus far. 50+% say it makes them feel nervous 86% say their party should be doing more to oppose the president. That's not exactly a ringing endorsement of the Democratic leadership, which includes you. So how do you respond to all of that?
Well, one, people in this country are understandably frustrated because this is all unprecedented. This daily outrage, the flooding the zone, the parade of horribles that Donald Trump and his minions in Congress have unleashed on the American people. This is unprecedented. And it is, of course, unsettling because it's all un-American. And I think what we'll continue to do as Democrats is to show up and stand up and speak up.
So the lack of direction, the lack of leadership, the lack of general ideas is Donald Trump's fault.
Yes, of course. It has to be his. It can't be theirs.
It can't possibly be their leadership.
But I want to point out what he said when he said Americans are frustrated. No, they're not. What are they frustrated by?
I'm not. I get up every morning excited about this stuff.
I was in Greenville. There was no frustration. It was a good time. Yeah, Los was in Nashville and Franklin.
Nashville, everybody was having a great time.
Everybody was having a damn ball. In Atlanta, Georgia, when I got home on Saturday, late Saturday evening, we did a cookout with some other friends. Yesterday, nice evening. My wife made a wonderful dinner. We sat on the back deck and had dinner. There was zero frustration. Zero. So what is he talking about? Who's frustrated? The only people that are frustrated are communists. That's it.
Things are not good for them. They know, and what's so wild about it, because their playbook really is only a handful of pages. Their playbook is racism, it's based on sex, it's based on age. Oh, by the way, they're gonna take away your Social Security, and if they're not gonna do that, then let's go ahead and make sure we tell people let's riot in the streets. Like there's a very limited playbook here. They've exhausted every end of it within the first 120 days of the administration. Every play.
Where do you go from here? More of that? More of L.A.?
Man, we already had 2 assassination attempts.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they've exhausted every play in the playbook already.
You could say that those people throwing bricks off the bridges in L.A., but that's an assassination attempt. That's trying to kill someone.
That's a good tease for our Bortz report coming up at the bottom of the hour. But he said unprecedented twice, talking about flooding the zone. I'm sorry, I lived from 2020 to 2024, and I remember them flooding the zone with all of their minions and all of their lies.
But what are we flooding the zone with?
Noise.
What?
Just noise.
But we're not even flooding the zone with anything.
We're just going about our business. So I'm sorry, we're flooding the zone with good jobs reports.
Yeah.
We flooding the zone with, look at the S&P. Look at what all the data says. Are we flooding the zone with energy prices coming down? Are we flooding the zone with demanding the Fed actually lowers the interest rate when we go below 2% inflation? What exactly are we floating the zone with that makes people upset?
Apparently,
victory
and removing people from the country that do not belong here, that are causing chaos like we're seeing in L.A., that's what we're doing. So if that's flooding the zone, then yes, let's continue to flood the zone. Because I want to see it. I want all those people. I want every one of those people in jail. Every one of them underneath the jail. They don't even deserve to be in the jail. Under the jail.
I like the idea of them continuing to burn their own stuff down. And what it's going to do, similar to the Palisades fire, a lot of people then were like, wait a minute, is it really going to take 7 years to rebuild my home because government gets that involved? All right, I'm leaving here. If this isn't the sign that if you're able to vote with your feet,
get out.
Get out.
You better.
I've said this since I've been on this radio station. True wealth is being able to live around people that share your values. It's not about money. It really isn't. It's about, am I part of a community that shares my values? And if you can get out, get out. Leave it to the animals. The animals are in control there, and that's it. It's always going to be chaotic, and it's always going to be a cesspool. Get out.
One day, we're going to look at California like the way we look at the Dominican Republic. We look at any of those other islands that people, Haiti. Because guess what Haiti and the Dominican Republic are? Beautiful. Unbelievable, gorgeous. I mean, it's one of the prettiest places you'll ever go in your life.
The Dominican Republic puts up a fence to be like, Haiti, stay away from us.
That's exactly right.
Because We got some stuff going on. Y'all are crazy.
But when you go to the Dominican Republic, you don't leave the resort.
No.
You can't. You can't leave the resort. It's dangerous. It's crazy. But it's the most beautiful place you've ever been. Because that's what I always get about. Well, I want to live in California because it's beautiful. Okay, there's a lot of places that are beautiful you can't live. Because the people there are nuts. And they invite it. They actually ask for it. The mayor of LA is asking for what's happening. She's just fine with it. She was trained by communists in Cuba to set this up, to make sure it happens, to bring down the United States. That's the point. That's the whole point. It's nothing to do with deporting people that are murderers. That's the premise. They want you to believe that that's it. They want you to believe that you're just dragging regular folks off the street. It's not. They're going after murderers. They're going after killers. They should be out of here. And then when we're done with them, if you're here illegally, well, you might have to go too.
If you happen to throw something at a federal official and you're not here legally, you can go too.
Set a fire. Gone. Anything more than standing on the side, chanting some stupid chant, holding your sign, anything above and beyond that, you're gone. You're out. You're done for. It's the way it's got to be. Otherwise, we'll continue to put up with it. And I don't want to put up with it anymore. Stephen Miller lays down the law about illegal immigration to the mainstream media. Wow. The White House press corps. They got a beating. Let you hear from him next.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Here are your sports headlines for Friday, June 6th. The Braves lost the final.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, June 9th. The Atlanta Braves have lost 7 straight after being swept in San Francisco, including a 4-3 final yesterday. The Braves do continue the road trip this evening in Milwaukee. That's Algonquin for the good land as they take on the Brewers. First pitch is set for 7:40. It'll be Chris Sale and Aaron Savale on the mound. The NBA Finals are now tied at a game apiece as the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Indiana Pacers last night in OKC, 123-107. Game 3 is set for Wednesday night in Indianapolis. And the Stanley Cup Finals resume tonight with the series tied at 1 between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. The Panthers host tonight from Sunrise, Florida. Puck drops at 8 o'clock. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina. Hey, it's Front Office Lowe's here to tell you about a new company that is changing the way people buy their next pre-owned car or truck. At The Honest Car Guy, they offer a completely transparent way to purchase a vehicle. You pay what he pays, plus a small honest fee. You can choose any make or model. He will search the country for the best deal out there. He'll handle the paperwork, your trade-in, shipping, and even give you the bill of sale. Friends, I've done the research, and this is a buying process that you can trust. Call 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit online at honestcarguy.com.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. We basically bought our house from our in-laws. It was my wife's childhood home. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog in our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. We resodded it twice. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. Consists of about 4 holes, total about 40 yards, so you can definitely work on your short game and your putting. After that transformation that ATL Turf Co. did for us, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked after the fact of we had a putting green and a miniature golf course. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check him out online at atlturfco.com.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. Okay, you're driving along. Suddenly you hear that horrible sound of metal and crunching. It's an accident. Even if it's a little minor fender bender, man, that could be a nightmare. First, obviously, take care of yourself. But before you make a deal with an insurance company or anybody else, call David Van Sant with Van Sant Law. You know why? Because he used to work for the insurance company, so he knows how to get the right settlement and right away. Van Sant Law. Don't forget, if you don't get paid, they don't get paid. Protecting your interests. Insurance is great, but it's complicated. 855-GA-INJURY or vansantlaw.com.
Military veterans are eager to transfer their skills and experiences to civilian life, but lack trusted connections to expedite their path to success. That is, until they meet the Warrior Alliance. The Warrior Alliance goes the extra mile to reach veterans in their communities so they do not have to take this journey alone. With over 40 partners across 10 service areas, your donation goes a long way toward achieving maximum impact for a veteran and their family. Go to thewarrioralliance.org to donate today and commit to helping the Warrior Alliance change thousands of lives for the better.
Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs feature helps you stand out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
This is House Call for Health. June is Migraine and Headache Awareness Month. The American Migraine Foundation says it's a time to spotlight a disease that impacts more than 1 billion people across the globe, but is still very misunderstood. That's about 1 in 4 households in the United States. It's also the second leading cause of disability worldwide. This year, the theme is I Am Invisible, but the "in" has parentheses around it to show this problem is both seen and out of mind at the same time. For more than 90% of those who get migraines, they interfere with social activities, careers, and education. Symptoms can include moderate or severe head pain, nausea and vomiting, increased sensitivity to light, sound, or smells, difficulty sleeping, and more. There's no single cure for migraines, but there are treatments that can help manage symptoms, like medicines or simple actions like laying in a dark room or icing your head. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Extra 106.3 personalities aren't afraid to tell it like it is.
Without Donald Trump, nothing that's going on would be happening right now. Donald Trump is changing the world.
And you'll never hear us spew that violent rhetoric from the left. So don't be afraid to tell it like it is. Because we're happy to have you as part of the Extra community.
I particularly like Donald Trump's actions in getting illegal aliens the hell out of this country.
Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra at Extra 106.3 404-741-1230. I want you to hear from Stephen Miller. He is a guy that does not mince words. And when Angela was in on Friday, Los, when you were up in Nashville, she said something that I think that was dead on. She was like, Carolyn Levitt's great. Like, she is a terrific spokeswoman for the White House. But if you want to know the meat and potatoes, the nuts and bolts of what's happening, ask Stephen Miller.
Yeah. Carolyn Levitt is a really good spokesperson for the administration. Absolutely. Stephen Miller's a killer.
That's exactly right. Now, I want you to hear what he did to the White House press corps when he's talking about illegal immigration.
Tell me about where the bodies are.
Here it is.
You all choose to live in condos or homes or houses as far away from these kinds of gangbangers as you possibly can. If I offered any one of you a rent-free home with no taxes to pay in any of these gang neighborhoods, and I said your neighbors are MS-13 terrorists or Mexican mafia or Sinaloa cartel or Tren de Aragua, I couldn't pay you to live there. But yet you, with your coverage, are trying to force innocent Americans to have these people as their neighbors, and that one day their daughter may be abducted from their home and raped and murdered. So you're not going to get an ounce of sympathy from this administration or President Trump for the terrorists who've invaded our homes and our country.
He has gone to that card before, and it's effective every single time.
But look at what's happening in L.A.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
No, he has told the media a number of different times, you all are holier than thou. But you're doing it from your ivory perch.
That's right. You got that little bubble of protection.
Look what happens when you have to get down in it. Suddenly, you aren't that excited about it.
And when the American people see what's happening in L.A., they're not excited about it. And it makes them even more satisfied that they voted for Donald Trump, even if they don't love Trump. You can't look at what happened over the last 4 years with allowing these type of people come in to burn down Los Angeles and say, yeah, this is what we want. Yeah, I'm glad Joe Biden opened the gates.
I mean, if I could get my basement done for a quarter of the price I've been quoted, then maybe I'd be excited about illegal immigration.
Right.
But it's not happening.
Yeah.
All right? Like, if everyone tells me I get all these benefits from this stuff, who's going to pick our fruit?
And then if they burn down your basement.
And that would be kind of a problem.
That would be terrible.
No, this whole discussion of cheap labor, granted, like there is a portion of not only your Chamber of Commerce Republicans that are into it, but the Democrats in general. But it's gone well beyond that. These people aren't burning stuff in the streets because they're upset about picking your fruit.
No.
These people aren't doing that stuff. They're here. They've invaded your country, and they believe it's their own.
Yeah, well, that's what the separatist
believe it's
organization.
Mexico.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There is I think it's called the Chicano Separatists that are rioting out there because they believe California
by the way,
belongs to them.
They're a small fraction of these groups. The color revolution requires you to basically build your numbers. So you might have 40 activists out there. How do you turn it into a crowd of 1,000 people? That's always the goal. And oftentimes they will base it on injustice. And then when you strike at them, now they go authoritarianism, and they try and rally more people to their cause. That's how a color revolution works.
Chicano Liberation Front. That's one of them that started in the early 70s. That's one of the groups.
Yeah, that's being funded by an NGO.
Yeah, they're a Marxist organization. They don't care to use violence if they need to. I mean, these are all. I mean, and this is not like me digging deep. This is just a quick Google search. It even pops up on Google, which is the most sanitized leftist search engine you can possibly use.
I think Natalie Winters took now granted, she's an investigative reporter. I think it took her all of about 10 minutes to go, hey, by the way, here's the organization.
That's exactly right, man.
It's not hard to find.
And then,
it's like Deion Sanders.
And right.
Not hard to find.
Yeah,
I ain't hard to find.
You know exactly where he is. Head out to Colorado these days. You'll find him there, especially during football season. Probably doing some spring workouts right now out there with the football team.
It's like during baseball season.
That's right, man.
Not hard to find.
Yeah, I'm at a ballpark somewhere, always. But that's the thing that drives me, and I think most Americans crazy, is when they see this, they're wondering why. Why does it happen? Why does it have to happen? They're tired. I think after coming off of 2020 and the summer of love, the last thing the American people have is the appetite for this bull crap. And this, because the Democrats hadn't figured it out yet, they have no idea that this is not helpful to them. I don't think. Now, will they start figuring out? Probably. But they have no idea right now that this crap is going to make their polling numbers sink even further. No one wants this. And then, they'll come out and say, well, Donald Trump wants it. He's using this as a tool to sow unrest so he can have unbridled power or some bullcrap.
If not for Dominion voting systems, allegedly, and drop boxes, I don't believe we'd see any of this stuff in American cities. It worked in 2020. It created the issues that went on. And then the Democrats stole an election. What they haven't experienced is what happens in an election, midterms or otherwise, when you're burning down cities, when you're having this look, when people are flying Mexican flags in the middle of cities while they're standing on cop cars and things are on fire, and then you see the backlash at the ballot box. If you don't have drop boxes to deal with that, you're going to find out this is not a popular thing to do. You just happen to get away with it in 2020. That's why you added it to your playbook.
Elon Musk is even tweeting pictures of these separatists waving the Mexican flag, these communists standing on top of burned out cop cars. And his post is very simple. This is not okay. And that's the way the American people feel about it.
This is not a situation where they are flying that flag and in your mind you're like, well, if it's so great there, go home. It's like, no, they've conquered you.
Yeah, that's the point.
That's their view. They've conquered you. Now, my question is, are you going to do anything about it?
Donald Trump is. Sent it in the National Guard, said he'll send in the Marines if he needs to.
And now, again, the color revolution requires that there's some sort of backlash from the government so they can assume and they can point out authoritarianism. They can basically say, look, they're authoritarian. I'm just saying crack a few heads. Not a lot. Do it quietly. Don't go, make sure it's not on TV. And once you do 2 or 3, you'll see how thousands of other people run off. And when you're able to round up those 1,000 people, send them to El Salvador or Guatemala or Istanbul. I don't care.
Just not here.
Just not here.
Yeah, we're tired of it.
And that is, in my opinion, what I'm saying. And by no means, other Americans are like, wow, Los, that's too far. People agree with me.
No, I don't think it is either, man. These people got to go, dude. This does not help me. This helps me not even a little bit when it comes to separating, because I can't separate who's who. I can't separate.
No, you all got to go.
I don't know who's on the good side. I don't know who's on the bad side. The only thing I see is people that don't belong in this country burning an American city down. Got to go.
This is the issue that has been brought to the forefront from Marilyn Mann and Girl from Dalton and all the other cases. They were pulling at your heartstrings. And what they found out is that it didn't matter. 76% of Americans say the criminal aliens, they want them out of the country. Over, I think it was like 56% said they want everybody who is here illegally out of the country. They already tried the heartstrings. Once that didn't work, now it's the violence. That's where they're at. They tried the heartstrings on you. It didn't change anything. Now they went to the violence, and we're going to see a big old backlash out of this.
This is full-blown communism spilling out into the streets. That's what communism looks like.
I think this is one of those, if you were to tell me that communism recognizes that it's on its way out right now in this country.
It's reacting.
Here's how it's reacting. It's like they're in their death blows right now. This is what they're doing to lash out. Communism is on its way out of this country.
Let's just hope, because I'm tired of that. Whatever that is, I want it gone. I don't want to never see it again. I never want to see another summer of love, because it's anything but. Now, you're not supposed to listen to your eyes and ears. Just like in the book 1984, they tell you, listen to the party message. That's the most important message, not your eyes and your ears. Go back and read 1984 if you've not read that since, I don't know, high school maybe? Early high school, somewhere in there. Because that was the big message of it. Listen to the party, not your eyes and ears. And the Democrats are telling you, peaceful protests. Mostly peaceful protests as the city is on fire. The foolishness is not lost on me. When we continue on Extra 106.3, we'll continue with this battle for Los Angeles. It's good versus communism. Next on Extra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Okay, let Trump and Musk continue with their childish little spat. I have a couple of words to say about the riots in Los Angeles. Number one, and this comes from my longevity on the air, I remember a couple of decades ago when there was a lot of dissension in Los Angeles by a group claiming Los Angeles belonged to them. República de Norteamericano, or the Republic of North America. They claimed that Los Angeles, California, Arizona, New Mexico, all stolen from Mexico, and they wanted it back. So that'll give you a little bit of the idea of the attitude that goes with the Hispanic communities in Los Angeles. So these riots aren't at all that unusual. Secondly, I watch a lot of court cam on TV. I have seen people sentenced to a lifetime in jail because they threw a rock at a car. It went through the windshield and killed somebody. These were usually kids. They thought it was funny. Let's go throw rocks at cars. Well, in Los Angeles right now, you have these masked activists throwing rocks, large rocks, at police vehicles, Customs and Border Patrol vehicles. Those rocks could hurt and kill somebody. Some agents have already been hurt. Bottom line, if you pick up a large rock the size of an eggplant and you toss it at one of these vehicles as it goes by, cops would be entirely within their rights to shoot your ass dead right where you stand, and I would love to see that happen. Attacks on law enforcement personnel have to end. You don't stand by and watch it. Get a cop with a rifle, somebody's throwing rocks, the next one he picks up, drop him right there. Sick to death of this crap. And if he survives, deport him. I have spoken. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
This is Poll Paris with Fox News Director of Polling, Dana Blanton.
10 years ago, in June 2015, Donald Trump announced he was running for president. When we asked voters about him a couple of months later, our Fox News survey found he had 90% name recognition, and 34% had a favorable view of him as a person. These days, Trump is more popular. His favorability rating stands at 45%, up 11 points. Most of that increase comes from an improved image among his base. Positive views are up 15 points among white evangelical Christians, 33 points among Republicans, and 37 points among self-described very conservatives. That's not all. Trump has also made gains among groups that traditionally vote Democratic. Since 2015, his favorability rating is up by 13 points among black voters, 11 points among both college graduates and those under age 30, and 10 points among women. Give our website a favorable rating, foxnews.com/poll. I'm Dana Blanton. That's your Poll Paris.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
Things really escalated in Los Angeles. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, on the third day of immigration raid protests. And some of them in masks clashed with law enforcement.
When the protesters came out in their thousands here in downtown LA and things really became chaotic and extremely violent. At one point, the protesters took over parts of the 101 freeway, which goes right through the heart of downtown. They were setting on fire some of those Waymo vehicles. Those are the self-driving robo-taxis that are a common sight on the streets of Los Angeles these days.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt in downtown LA, which is now declared an unlawful assembly area with National Guard troops
guarding the Metropolitan Detention Center, where protesters believe some of those caught up in the raids over the last few days are still being held.
President Trump deployed that National Guard and has Marines on standby.
We got to see what we need. We'll send whatever we need to make sure this law and order.
But LA's Mayor Karen Bass and California Governor Gavin Newsom, both Democrats, don't want the National Guard troops, claiming the president made things worse. Newsom says he's acting like a dictator. President Trump's new travel ban takes effect today for 12 countries. It's a total restriction, including Afghanistan, Iran, and Yemen, on concern they don't properly vet those who'd come here. 7 other countries have partial restrictions, including Venezuela and Cuba. Drama outside of Gaza. Climate activist Greta Thunberg claims she was kidnapped by Israel when the boat she was on, carrying food and aid to Palestinians in Gaza, which Israel's blockaded, was intercepted.
Israel's foreign ministry says the activists are making their way safely to Israel, where they'll be shown a video of the attack by Hamas on October 7th, 2023. It's branded the venture a selfie yacht carrying less than 1 truckload of aid.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. A new round of U.S.-China trade talks about to get underway now in London. America's listening to Fox News.
U.S. Air Force Technical Sergeant Jesse Clark's military service came to an end after a chemical exposure caused a large tumor to form in his brain. As a result, he is paralyzed on the left side of his body, legally blind, prone to memory loss, and in a wheelchair. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation built this hero a new smart home to help him live a more independent life. Help heroes like Jesse Clark. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
He's coming. Here he goes. Surprise! Your table saw broke. Also, the warranty expired weeks ago, so you need to pay for a new one out of pocket.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Oh, and the replacement part you ordered doesn't fit, so it's completely useless. What a waste.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
The news and talk I can trust. Extra 106.3.
You can see that there's a riot. I can see that there was a riot. All weekend long, the Democrats and mainstream media outlets told you, do not believe your eyes. This is mostly peaceful protest. And then you looked at your television as the flames come bursting out of cars and smoke billowed out of buildings and bricks were being dropped off of overhead overpasses, bridges. And you thought to yourself, well, it looked peaceful. I feel like I know what peaceful looks like. I feel like I know what peaceful is. That's not what it looks like yet.
Like I'm supposed to see a Bob Ross painting,
That's
right?
right, yeah. Pretty little peaceful little sky, peaceful little birds, and peaceful clouds.
Just a happy little mountain.
Yeah. Happy little trees. Not peaceful.
Not peaceful.
Not peaceful. That's exactly right, man.
I would like to see Bob Ross do a painting
of this.
Of this.
Just the smoke bill.
Just be fantastic.
Just a happy little protester. Just setting a little fire.
Just a happy little brick.
Something I've not thought about until just now. And it's surprising that I haven't, because Elon Musk freed media. Just think if we didn't have Twitter right now. We didn't have X right now.
Oh, man.
You would not be seeing this in real time in this way. The media would be hiding it from you as they were doing so much of the things in 2020 and 2021.
Exactly right.
Everything that was going on in real time, as much as MSNBC and CNN wanted to tell you this is a mostly peaceful protest, you saw hours ahead of time that it was not, in part because of what you can get on X.
They're still playing in the old playbook. They've not revamped their playbook. They've not redone their playbook. Maybe because they can't.
It's a good point you bring up too, Tug, because last night as I was, getting things ready for the show, and I had CNN on just to say, all right, is somebody going to say something that, we can pull for tomorrow's show? And they had thrown in the towel. They were like, yeah, it was peaceful earlier, but now it's gotten dark and things are getting crazy.
CNN actually had someone on yesterday, and they were talking about how it was mostly peaceful. And she's saying this as they've now got the screen. She's on a third, 2/3 are actual video of what's going on the ground.
Is the video you have pulled up right now?
And there's
the blazing car.
There's a blazing car in the street with motorcycles driving around it like it's straight out of Mad Max. And so when she's like, well, I mean, it's mostly peaceful, and you're going, what the hell? That is straight out of like apocalypse.
That's right.
Scenarios.
There's nothing there, but if you didn't have the ability to see it in real time, with citizen journalists, not captured journalists, not ones that were there to mislead you and misguide you and tell you wrong, you probably would still think, well, it's mostly peaceful. I mean, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I see all the video.
What was the city they were in 2020? The one that got memed to death? Was it Kenosha or was it somewhere in Minnesota?
Kenosha was there, in Minneapolis were the two that were when it came to the memes, it was mostly peaceful, and those were your two primaries.
And it's just the reporter that's saying mostly peaceful.
As Minneapolis is burning down.
Huge fires in the background.
Yeah. I don't know who they expect that they're dealing with.
Well, it's worked in the past.
But that's what I'm saying. The playbook is done. Yeah. Their playbook is dead, shot dead. There's nothing they can say that says that's peaceful. Nobody believes that. Even people that are not on Twitter, because it started populating into Facebook. It started showing up on Instagram. The not peaceful protests that were happening. That's the thing. Nobody buys it. Stop lying. Just stop lying for once. Stop lying. I know they won't. I know they can't. But that's what the American people, that's what I want to see. Just quit lying to me. Quit freaking hitting me with, stop peeing in my face and tell me it's raining.
Well,
all I can say.
And that ends up being one of the contributing factors to what's going to be very bad polling when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah.
There's three things that are not working out for the communists. The people participating in this are fat, brown, and illegal.
And breaking the law.
And they're breaking the law.
But not just...
That's the fourth one. But the first three, it's like, okay, this does not scream the rest of America. Middle America is what decides elections. Middle America, the vibe of this country. There was a reason why when Minneapolis was burning down, we're like, Midwestern American city, that's the breadbasket. That's
unusual.
Oh, that's unusual. They must have real problems. When it's L.A., that's not the feeling. Somebody in Nebraska turning this stuff on just goes, oh, it looks like a bunch of illegal brown people are burning things down. Yeah, I'm not in favor of that. It doesn't work the same way. I'm telling you, it might be uncomfortable for you to think about it in those terms. That's the truth. That's how it works.
That's exactly right. There's nothing wrong about what you said. But, you had Dana Bash, last night.
Still, that nickname works. It's been over a year of Dana Bash.
Well, I mean, guess what? I don't know what to call her.
Cracks me up every time.
Because I've heard her called so many, so both of them. I've heard her called lots worse, but she's never answered to anything but Dana or Dana, one of the two. But she would tell you last night on CNN, that's not even a real riot.
I just want to just state for the record that what did happen in 1992 was so different from what we're seeing now. I mean, that was a real riot that went all across the city of Los Angeles after a verdict in the Rodney King case. This is a situation where the LA County Police.
Dana,
it's not good, but they're saying that they have it under control, and the president is sending national troops, federal troops, in a way that
we can look at
hasn't
this
been
and
done
we
in
can
a long
obviously
time.
see that it is not under control. It's not under control. You and I both can see that. It's not under control. And a riot is a riot. They're throwing all types of objects at law enforcement, and the president is absolutely right.
Mark Wayne Mullins is who you're hearing from there, and I would like to point out he called her Dana and Dana.
If you happen to have Los Angeles police officer vehicles sitting underneath an overpass, and you have people throwing scooters at them and also lighting things on fire and throwing at those vehicles, is that under control?
No.
Last I heard, there was 4 law enforcement that were, pretty seriously injured and had to go to the hospital.
If there's any, that means it's a riot.
Yep.
Otherwise, no one's getting hurt if you're holding signs and chanting, singing your song. Nobody gets hurt there.
We got to deal with the J7ers.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's what they're doing. And by the way, when we got into a little bit of that information about, basically what you have with Scott Presler and why this is happening in this way and how this is the end of a big push from communism. California is set to lose 4 congressional seats. It might be as high as 7 because of the people that are leaving there.
What have I told you from the beginning of this show? That's what it's about.
The census numbers for 2030. That's what it comes down to. If you want to know where people are going, Texas is going to pick up 4. Florida is going to pick up 3. Georgia's going to pick up 1. Tennessee's going to pick up 1. North Carolina is going to pick up 1. California's going to lose 4. Oregon's going to lose 1. Idaho's going to pick up 1. People are moving out of these communist areas. And so this is their retort to that. This is if you're going to get our new voters and the people that we're counting on for power, if you're going to ship them out, we are going to riot.
That's exactly right. Los nailed it. It's exactly right. They see their means to power being deported.
That's all this is.
That's what it's about. Remember, that's what it's about, especially when you go to the ballot box the next time. This is going to be so detrimental for the communists in the midterms. People are not going to forget this. I'm not going to forget it. You're not going to forget it. Let's not let it die. We need to call it J7. We need to brand it. That way nobody can forget it.
Mostly peaceful protests of J7.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I mean, to hear Dana Bash try and push that narrative as we're watching these just fires in the street, to think that you have people in LA that decided to call on autonomous vehicles so they could light them on fire.
It's nuts. There was a reporter from ABC7. She was talking about how great everyone is behaving. Like, this is a woman on the ground. When they're flipping off the camera. Everybody's been really nice. Everything's mostly peaceful. And then they start turning over a car behind her. Like, what
Everybody's really nice. Everybody's really friendly.
How can you sit and lie on live television?
And keep flying those Mexican flags. Just keep at it. Because that is one of the things when it comes to the color revolution. You're trying to create a scenario where it's us versus the federal government. Or when it comes to when you're doing it and you see it used in different countries around the world, it's the people versus the people in power. That's how they created. Once you start flying an opposing flag, you lose the plot.
That's right.
It's not all of us versus them. It turns into all of us and then you versus them. And the rest of that you has no interest in backing you.
That's right. They're not for you. They're not for the country. They are for chaos and anarchy, and will continue to do that. This is the America they envision. When you hear AOC say it's okay that the country is crumbling, she's fine with that because something else can spring out of it. This is what she's talking about.
Yeah, she was catching some heat online over the weekend, too, from a new video. You didn't see that, I assume?
I guess not. Which one is it?
She got some unflattering angles.
Oh, just she didn't look good.
But she was looking a little grande.
Okay.
It still comes back to...
She get fat and happy. She's a communist. Is what happens.
This is what occurs this is how this all plays out in terms of trying to get rid of the foundational aspects of this country. And the foundation of the civil society is law and order.
That's right.
Rule of law. And so if you can upset rule of law, then you can create change within a society. And this is a change that the more it's shown on television and the more, especially on X, it's more change that people do not want.
That's
have
right.
no interest in this sort of change.
Well, Tug, you said it's going to continue, and this is just the start of it.
That's right.
And I know in Houston they were trying to get something going yesterday. A few hundred people showed up. Tampa today, I mean, they're organizing the Antifa folks at 3 o'clock. So we're going to continue to see this.
It is not going anywhere because they see this as the first opportunity to create the mass chaos that they want.
And just so everybody knows, your billions of dollars that went out the door via USAID to all these NGOs, what was the number, Tug? It was $1.3 billion a day?
Yeah.
That after the Biden administration was on their way out, $1.3 billion a day was heading out for the federal government to NGOs with the sole intention of doing this with it. This was always the plan. And it didn't even take 120 days before they're like, well, let's go ahead and get the whole riot thing going.
And a quote, this is a quote, another ABC 7, just because I told you about the lady that was reporting how nice people were as they were turning cars over behind her. This is a quote from ABC 7 anchor Mark Brown. He's the lead anchor. It could turn very volatile if you move law enforcement in there the wrong way, turning what is just a bunch of people having fun, watching burning cars, into a massive confrontation and altercation. That's what the man said on live television.
Let's do it.
As cars are burning, they're just there having fun watching cars burn. Have you ever been in a situation where you saw a car burning and you thought, wow, this is fun. We should do this more. It's not like a cookout when you're leaving a cookout, you ain't seen some friends in a while. We should do this more.
We should light this car on fire so we can take things up a notch.
That's exactly right. Maybe with the barbecue next time we'll set a car on fire because it's so much fun.
I'm not saying we do it to Jerry's Mustang. I say we take his beater, we light it on fire because that'll just take everything up a notch for the weekend, right?
So much fun.
So much fun.
Well, now we can't get the insurance claim now that you've said it publicly.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, good point.
But this could turn very volatile if you move law enforcement in the wrong way. What the hell's that even mean?
By all means.
If you move law enforcement in the wrong way, what's the wrong way? I mean, literally, they walk in.
Move them in the wrong way.
It's just dumb.
Your terms are acceptable.
Your terms are acceptable, sir.
So ignorant. This dude has no idea what he's talking about. He's such a captured agent of just the nonsense bubble that he lives in. Because he's told every day what to think and what he can say and what he can't say. Thank God at Dickey Broadcasting, we don't have those restrictions. If you're at a corporate entity, which I came from, working corporate radio for the last 20, up until I've been here 7 years. Up until the last 20 years, they're like, don't talk about that. Yep, you can talk about that. They would tell you. They get told every day what they can and can't talk about. They get told every day what they can and can't say. And they have to go on and make complete fools of themselves, Los, to say that on live television with a car burning behind you saying, it's just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn.
I would imagine
what the hell's that mean?
Down the hall, our guys would love to be talking about this. And they're like, so the Braves have lost 7 straight.
Yeah, because that
Braves ain't looking good.
And that ends up being the... All right, well, there's an American city that's burning down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, we were talking about things that are considerably important, but let's get the underlying meaning of all of it. This is a battle between those people that don't respect rule of law, don't respect this country, and people that are trying to enforce rules of law and laws of this country.
Crazy thing about sports media is I'm afraid they're going to take the other side.
Oh, they'll talk about how, well, this is just a bunch of people that are upset. They're so upset about the injustices going on in this country. It's like, there's no injustices. You paid $1.3 billion a day to organizations so you could fill up their coffers so they could do this as soon as you could. It was just a matter of what was going to be your impetus behind it. They couldn't get Maryland Man to create it. They couldn't get Dalton, Georgia Girl. And it wasn't like they even had anything here. It's not like they had a Rodney King or George Floyd moment.
They had 60 people arrested that were murderers, rapists.
They just got bored. Okay, this was all in the plans. They didn't have the fire starter. and they just went, we're just tired of waiting.
We'll set the fire ourselves.
America will not get involved in this. 76% of all Americans want criminal illegal aliens out. 56% want everyone who is here illegally out. They didn't get what they wanted. They didn't get that one key moment. And so this is what they decided to do. Let's just start now.
Well, they want this to spread to other cities. And
as you mentioned earlier,
I think, man, if this starts up in Texas, if this starts up in Florida, look out for it later today. It ain't good. They're going to stop them as soon as it starts.
It won't even get started there. If it were to happen here.
And thank God.
Yeah, absolutely thank God. Because nobody wants to live in this. Nobody wants to live in a third world country, and that's what they want to turn the United States into, a third world country where they have unbridled power and they have all the money, just like AOC getting fat and happy, to your point. But then, Los, they got to worry about some other communist coming knocking them off because they ain't getting enough.
There's always the next communist who goes, you're not communist enough. We got to take things up a notch.
And they will. And it'll look like L.A. all over again. Why do you think these third world countries continue to churn and look the exact same way? It's a tropical paradise with cars burned out.
I think we're in the find out portion of the graph this week.
Yeah. Oh, you can get away with this in LA. Like, they will do their thing. Like, try and bring this to another American city and see how it plays out. Especially if we just are talking about getting out of the liberals areas. You try and bring this to a town where it's half and half, you ain't gonna like how it plays out.
Oh, Tampa loves their law enforcement.
Yes.
It ain't gonna go well for them down there.
When we continue on Extra 106.3, the 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. Call Chuck and his team today for a maintenance agreement. $10 goes to Skyland Trail if you get one up until July. Greta Thunberg passes up helping actual refugees escaping actual genocide because it didn't help the narrative. That is the discussion next. You're not going to believe this. Like, when I saw the video of this, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. But no, she wasn't. It didn't help. So she left them. Next on Extra.
Get the latest breaking news and insight from the biggest conservative voices in the South when you follow Extra 106.3 across all your social media platforms. Find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube at Extra 106.3.
Hey, it's Mike from Atlanta Painting Company. Summer is here, and you want to save money for a vacation. So, right now, save 10% on any painting job Atlanta Painting Company does for you this summer. Atlanta Painting Company is still Atlanta's biggest family-owned and run painting company, and we are passionate about making your family's home look great. So get in touch. Head to AtlantaPaintingCompany.com to save 10% on any paint job this summer. Atlanta Painting Company, the painters you can trust.
A golfer, but one who really cares, can help transform a career.
There he is, your new champion.
When you team up with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
Gentlemen, listen up. When it's not hard, it's really hard. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 have some form of ED? It's true, and I'm one of them. ED followed me everywhere. Heck, even my initials are ED. I'm Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia, and I know ED. It can lead to feelings of embarrassment, stress, and sadness. But there's good news. I can fix it. I fixed mine, and I can fix yours too. At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, we are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, Trimix to create an erection, and more. Guys, ED won't get better on its own, but I can help you today. Call us at 404-777-1911. That's 404-777-1911, or learn about us more online at tbtofga.com. So take it from me, ED, Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Call 404-777-1911 or online at tbtofga.com.
Home is where the All-Stars are, and this year's All-Star game is right here in Atlanta. Make sure to vote for all your Braves players like Ronald Acuna Jr., Marcell Ozuna, Matt Olson, and the rest of the squad to represent at the 2025 All-Star game. Plus, select the Braves as your favorite team and receive 20% off tickets for a future home game. Head to Braves.com/vote to cast your ballot today and see your favorites play right here in our own backyard. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
This is Bruce Hagan. The law in Georgia has changed, and if you have been injured in a car crash, it's going to be harder than ever to get insurance companies to treat you fairly. What you need is a real lawyer on your side, not some phony TV or billboard lawyer who doesn't even know how to get to the courthouse. I've been a Georgia super lawyer for 20 straight years, and we try cases and we win. We get results for our clients. Call me, get in touch, Hagan-law.com. We are real lawyers who will win your personal injury case.
Securing America.
The current defense budget of $850 billion could jump by 14% to the first over $1 trillion defense budget for fiscal year 2026. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth on Fox and Friends Friday on what he says the Pentagon will do with the new budget.
We need warriors, and we need to make sure we're deterring our enemies. In order to do that, and this is the big key message because these are all budget hearings, is rebuild our military. President Trump did it in his first term. He's going to do it in this term.
Hegseth will also tell the House committee that the president plans historic investments in fighter jet and shipbuilding, as well as the Golden Dome, hypersonics, and drones.
We have the best military in the world, and we will soon have by far the most advanced and capable military in the world.
The secretary was in France last week calling on NATO allies to increase their defense spending by 5% to share the burden. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Monday, June 9th. Governor Kemp confirmed at least one fatality from Saturday night's severe thunderstorms in Cobb County. Over 50 trees fell in the high winds. Thousands were in the dark Sunday morning. Crews worked Sunday to restore power. More scattered thunderstorms are expected later today. A newly renovated Cobb County Park officially reopened on Saturday after undergoing Phase 1 of updates. Paces Mill Park is located in the Chattahoochee River National Recreation Area. The park features new trails, parking, and amenities along the river. Phase 2 begins in 2026. And an Atlanta high school graduate is going viral after arriving to work at Burger King wearing his graduation medals just hours after the ceremony. A customer who said she admired his work ethic started a GoFundMe, which has now raised over $200,000. The student says he will use the money to go to college this fall. Today's weather partly cloudy with scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening. Temperatures will reach the mid-80s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
By the way, the answer to that is that the reason why you hear the drop on our sister station all the time of Down the Hall, it's because that person who plays it doesn't like anything that's possibly has anything to do with politics.
No. So politics in general or just conservative
anything.
Politics? Anything.
Yeah.
Down the hall. I've heard it played many, many times. So the reason I bring this up, there's a person we work with that we'll go with nameless, but mainly because I don't know their name.
I know you're like, who is this person? I was like,
yeah.
I was like, no, he's a nice guy.
Somebody brought in it was so cool. Brought in their grandfather's World War II rifle. Basically,
is it their M1?
Yeah, that won the war.
Yeah.
I mean, just an amazing piece of equipment, and it was just so cool. It was just grandfather's. It was unbelievable. And it was passed down to him. And somebody walked up, and a person I don't know well walked up and like, that makes me uncomfortable. I'm like, dude, you're free because of that. Like, the fact that you can stand here today and say that makes you uncomfortable is because of that.
Let me tell you what this weapon did. It helped end Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan.
That makes me uncomfortable. Nazism and communism, that should make you uncomfortable.
I think people who are uncomfortable around guns, just go take a safety course. Go to a range. Just put your hands on one. I've seen videos where they take liberals who have never fired a gun and done it, and then they love it. They're having a great time.
It's because they're amazing.
Yes.
Guns are amazing. They are. In the wrong hands, they're violent. They're deadly. Sometimes in the right hands, they're violent and deadly, depending on the nature of the situation. But it doesn't get off the counter and kill anybody without a hand guiding it.
Only way to stop a bad guy with a gun
is a good guy with a gun. Yeah. That's exactly right. But I'd never heard anybody say that before.
Uncomfortable.
I'm uncomfortable with that. I'm uncomfortable with this.
80-year-old war relic.
Dude, it's in a box. I mean, it's in a case, so you could see it. It wasn't even out of the box. It was just sitting there.
This pen could write hate speech. I'm afraid of it.
But that's the mentality.
You want me to send him the beer I send him from time to time?
No, I'm afraid. You mean send it to me?
No, I can send it to the guy you're talking about.
Yes.
It's a beer, and it just says on the label, why are you gay?
Remember that? Was it the South African reporter?
It's the African. I think it's like in where are they from? Anyway, when he flat out tells the guy they're having a activist who comes on. If you've never heard this audio, and it's African television, and he sits down with the activist, and his first question is, "Why are you gay?"
Yes, that's it. You knew it. Okay,
and the person immediately, who says I'm gay?
He was like,
"You were gay.
You're gay. It's obvious you're gay. What do you mean?"
Awkward television,
but wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderfully awkward.
So yes, I send him a beer every now and then that just says, "Why are you gay?"
And there's the one of Donald Trump that someone has put that at the bottom of. It's just the one where he looks at the camera and he gives him the old point.
Yep.
Yeah. Why are you gay? So fun.
Good times.
Yes, it is.
We're all having good times.
Well, but you have to find something to laugh at, or you'll continue to dwell on the protests, the ICE raids, the protests of the ICE raids in Los Angeles that have not been mostly peaceful, even though the mainstream media have told you that it has been. It isn't until today that they're like, well, maybe, burning cop cars isn't. Maybe setting the whole city on fire isn't. Maybe looting and raiding stores that have nothing to do with it isn't peaceful. But that's, that's the craziness that comes out of the left coast. Greta Thunberg is a woman that is, pointless. She's lost all credibility.
How dare you?
She's gone from climate activist and told you, in 5 years, the whole world's underwater and we're all dead.
We passed that period 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly right. And so now she's had to find a new grift, and it is Gaza. It's the genocide in Gaza.
She's going to go put an end to all of that.
So she was on this this flotilla, and they were going to bring supplies to the Gazans who are being killed, as she says. And she passed a small boat. And we used to do this in the Navy all the time. We obviously wouldn't pick people up. But I'm not a human rights activist. I'm not a climate activist. I'm not anything like Greta Thunberg. I wasn't supposed to be doing these things. The U.S. Navy doesn't stop for anybody.
They were burning unclean gas on that boat.
That's exactly right. But there was a small boat of Sudanese refugees actually trying to get away from genocide. You know what Greta Thunberg did? Nothing. She didn't do anything. Went right by them like they weren't even there. There's a camera crew going, hey, there's these Sudanese people trying to escape genocide. Like didn't even exist. Why? Because it didn't match the narrative. It didn't go to the story that she was trying to tell. So people actually trying to separate, save themselves from genocide, she didn't even acknowledge they existed, just floated right by them.
She served her purpose. At the time, it was, let's find a little girl who will talk about these climate change issues. And then what happened? She turned into a very awkward adult. And at that point, they're like, we need new hotness.
Yeah. And
they've tried. Like we saw some of this when it came to the World Economic Forum. Some of the new ones are going to roll out are hot. That's going to be the next thing. It's going to be hot women talking to you about climate change.
So they know more than the Democrats, at least.
At least they're trying to go down that road. And I was telling them, I'm like, listen, it'll go a lot further if you just pick out hot women to do this. Greta had her day.
She was cute. She was a cute little girl then.
And then she turned into an awkward human. Woman, so then it was like, okay, let's move on to the next. So she's moved on to her next thing.
And the Israeli Foreign Ministry has, commandeered that boat that Greta was on. And they're talking about how they're being held against their will and all this crap.
They gave them sandwiches.
They gave them sandwiches. Exactly right.
Awesome.
Everything's safe. Everybody's unharmed.
Way to step up.
Yeah, our friend Phil Holloway quote tweeted this. It's so good. So Greta wasn't kidnapped after all. I'm so confused. They're on the selfie yacht, and they're safe and unharmed, provided with sandwiches and water. So everything's okay. Everything's just fine. Greta's, tweeting about how horrible they're being.
I've got
treated.
her ransom video if you want to hear
it.
My name is Greta Thunberg and I am from Sweden. If you see this video, we have been intercepted and kidnapped in international waters by the Israeli occupational forces or forces that support Israel. I urge all my friends, family and comrades to put pressure on the Swedish government to release me and the others as soon as possible.
As we're watching them in this video, being handed sandwiches. How dare you? Handed sandwiches and water.
Should have just given them cigarettes.
Yeah, exactly. At least that would have looked, would
have been
detrimental, or it would have looked like they're in jail or something.
I know.
They're just smoking jailhouse cigarettes.
Let's try and make this look a little bit more. I mean, you're trying to create propaganda. Give them cigarettes.
Dude, they're handing out freaking Jersey Mike's.
That doesn't look like it needs to look.
And Aquafinas.
Everybody looks comfortable.
Everybody's in a life vest.
How dare you?
That's right. If anybody falls out, they're going to be just fine.
Take this cigarette.
You were confused. If you were worried about Greta, which I'm sure you weren't, but if you were, she's just fine.
I was wondering what happened to her.
She got an Italian mix. That's what it was with light mustard, I hear. That's what
with light mustard.
I don't teach meat.
Yeah, that's right.
How dare you?
That's right. It's so... It's stupid, but humorous. And every time I see her, if I just see her face, I dismiss anything after. I see you, dismissed. I'm done. I have nothing for you.
She had her run.
I know she did.
About 7 years ago.
Yeah. But she's still out there trying to beat the drum, trying to be relevant.
Good luck.
Yeah. Trying to be relevant. Now we need to ask about the telecom companies. Remember how we were able to track people down? Remember they tracked people down who were going to church during 2020?
Yep.
You don't go to church. We will track you down.
The CDC reached out to the telecom industry, and at the time, they just wanted to see if their lockdowns were effective. They wanted to see if their rules were being followed. Now, there wasn't any punitive punishment there, but once telecom went along with it, that started what then came forward, which ended up being, we need all the data of everybody in Washington, D.C. during January 6th. And the telecom industry, AT&T most notably, rolled over and said, here you go, take all of it.
There you go. Don't worry about our customers. They'll be fine.
So I'm curious.
We don't care.
I'm curious now with the June 7thers if we're going to look into this, because this would not be hard to do.
No. I mean, everything is
very
happening.
Easy.
Especially with LA. This is the second biggest city in America.
Yes.
How many cell towers are there?
You can pretty much ping them right to a particular point.
Physically, if they're standing on a sidewalk next to a tree, we'll know it.
Well, all those Waymo cars that they pulled up, I mean, they got cameras all around those.
And you'll have video evidence to go along with it.
I mean, Waymo's got money in the game on this. They might as well turn over some of that footage.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
I talked to a police officer when I was at Disney a few years ago, and he was out of the state of Tennessee, and he told me about that technology that they use. We're sitting there in line, and he basically said he had a guy. He'd been accused of murder, been accused of murdering his ex-wife. He said he was able to take the cell phone data from the towers that he was pinging, and the guy was talking, I'm innocent. He's like, I can put you at the front door at this time before this happened. And at that point, he's like, okay. And now he looks for a deal. You can target down to a spot, especially when, as you said, in LA, as many cell towers, as much triangulation, you can put people on a sidewalk and know who was, like the guy who was throwing the rocks at the cars that were passing by. If he's got a cell phone, AT&T can give you that data, or one of the other cell phone companies. The question is, will they do it? Because that what was going on was a lot more violent.
They're not that, and they won't get the pressure from the federal government.
Not the same way.
Not this, because this administration's transparent and does things on the up and up. But to prove your point, Los, Oak Island, North Carolina is not a very robust city. It is a tiny little beach town right at the bottom of the Outer Banks. Happens to be where my son's playing summer baseball. If I pull up, and I know the address of the family that is staying with, his host family, so does Find My iPhone. Tells me the exact address.
Where is this? Yeah.
And this is not LA. This is the tiniest little beach town in the world.
Yeah, you can use the data.
Their address is on my phone.
And one of the things that police officers and law enforcement depends on, criminals are stupid. They will sit there with their phone in their pocket while they're doing what they're doing. This should not be hard to get these people's data. And more than likely, you can go, oh, I've got your information. I have you here, and you're illegal. Well, you've got to go.
Yes, you do have to
But I wonder if you will have a scenario where the telecom industry will play ball once again with actually real rioting. And deal with these people.
Yet to be seen, because I don't trust those companies at all. I feel like those companies, most of them, especially in their upper management, seem like they're in the favor of rioters, in the favor of Democrat politics. It's like the mainstream media. They're just fine with what's happening because they believe it. That's their point of view. They believe everything that's happening, and they're in favor of everything that's happening. So I tend to say no. But then subtract out the pressure from the federal government that they did get under the Biden administration, and the answer almost is certainly no. I guess we'll see if anybody decides to try to pursue it.
You know what they'll say when the government tries to request that data?
We're being pressured by Donald Trump?
No.
How dare you?
Oh, yeah.
These authoritarians that want your private information.
That's right. Gosh.
Triangulate, know who's there, know who's caused that dude throwing rocks.
Yeah.
Those people throwing scooters or, lighting things on fire and then dropping them on police cars, they will more than likely have a cell phone on them.
Oh, definitely have a cell. Even if it's a burner, it doesn't matter.
They were taking selfies on top of the burning cars.
That's exactly right. If you're at least using an iPhone, which I bet, at least let's say half of them are, half iPhone, half Google, Android, whatever. The picture gives you the latitude and longitude.
Yeah.
It puts you right there. Like, were you saying you weren't doing it? That's, it tells you exactly where you are.
It's called metadata.
Yeah, and it sticks with it. That's why when it gets text or email to somebody, all that data's attached to it, and they get it to pop up in their memories. I mean, it's all a huge web. If they want to know, they'll find out. That's the other question, Los. Do they want to know? We'll see. You won't understand the language that you hear the words in, but I will explain to you what they're saying, and this is in a major U.S. city. It will scare you. It will put just a chill up your spine next on Extra.
The Morning Extra on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3 FM.
Good morning, it's Los. I have a very simple question for you. What kind of car do you want to drive? Make and model, whatever you can come up with. Now, granted, sometimes we come up with fantasy car, that would be really great. Well, what if you could have somebody who could help make that fantasy a reality? That's what Tom is able to do. HonestCarGuy.com. That's HonestCarGuy.com. All you have to do is tell him, I'm looking for this make, I'm looking for this model. And then that's when the work begins. Now, we're talking about, in this process, saving thousands of dollars. What does he do? He has all the access to all the auctions out there, as well as all the dealerships around the country. And what you do not incur is the typical prices and the add-ons that dealerships typically hit you up for. So that when you start looking at what Honest Car Guy is able to deliver for you, you recognize, wow, I'm going to save thousands of dollars in this transaction. And once you secure the car, you just pay the Honest Car Guy fee. You'll be able to do the math just as I have. You're going to save thousands of dollars in this process. Again, any make, any model, whatever you can come up with, Tom's able to get it for you. All right, what do you do from here? Go to honestcarguy.com or give him a call. 844-SHOW-ME-1. That is 844-SHOW-ME1.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, June 9th. The Atlanta Braves have lost 7 straight after being swept in San Francisco, including a 4-3 final yesterday. The Braves do continue the road trip this evening in Milwaukee. That's Algonquin for the good land as they take on the Brewers. First pitch is set for 7:40. It'll be Chris Sale and Aaron Savale on the mound. The NBA Finals are now tied at a game apiece as the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Indiana Pacers last night in OKC, 123-107. Game 3 is set for Wednesday night in Indianapolis. And the Stanley Cup Finals resume tonight with the series tied at 1 between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. The Panthers host tonight from Sunrise, Florida. Puck drops at 8 o'clock. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Retirement means different things to different people. Some folks want to travel the world. Some folks want to spend more time with grandkids. For me, I'm looking forward to spending more time with my guitar. Whether extravagant and robust or simple and cozy, every retirement needs a plan. You wouldn't take a trip without directions. You have to know where you are before you know where you're going. Master Plan Retirement Consultants have helped many like you plan for their own retirement. Not only does Master Plan help you create the roadmap, they join you on the journey. So whether you want to travel the world, become a pickleball champ, or just looking for a good porch, a sturdy rocking chair, and an acoustic guitar, remember to plan well because the destination is worth it. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Jaron Solomon here, and this June, Solomon Brothers Jewelers is celebrating the people who make our world sparkle, you. All month long, we're giving back to the customers, partners, and charities that have helped us grow. We have exciting giveaways, including concert tickets, gift cards, prizes from the Braves and Dogs. And just by stopping in and filling out a wish list, we will give you a $100 credit to spend with us at our Buckhead, Alpharetta, or Sharpsburg locations, and $100 toward helping local heroes and charities like Leukemia Lymphoma Society and extra special people. Come visit us, join the celebration, and see how much community means at Solomon Brothers. Head to SolomonBrothers.com and click on the banner to find out more, including the full list of prizes. And thank you for being a part of our community for 40 plus years. Visit Solomon Brothers Jewelers in Buckhead, Alpharetta, or Peachtree City online at SolomonBrothers.com. Solomon Brothers is the preferred jeweler of your Atlanta Braves.
Hey, this is John Flading. I'm the president and owner of ATL Turf Co. We are a family-owned, operated, independent local company. We have over 15 years of artificial grass design, installation, and sales experience. From premium artificial lawns and backyards, custom putting greens, sports fields, hardscape, drainage. We do both residential and commercial. If you can dream it, we can build it. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
My name is Patrick, and I'm the Military Outreach Manager at the Warrior Alliance. I served in the U.S. Army as an airborne ranger and deployed to several combat zones in support of the global war on terror. Veterans bring excellence through our work ethic, skills, and civic duty. However, transitioning to civilian life can be difficult, as we all share a loss of purpose when leaving the military. Returning veterans have earned and deserve our support so they can thrive on their journey home. The Warrior Alliance understands the challenge and is helping warriors navigate to success after service. Join us in changing thousands of lives for the better. Donate today at thewarrioralliance.org.
Still need a Father's Day gift? Give Dad or yourself a 4-hour, hands-on, grill with the pros experience at Southern Thunder Barbecue School. We'll put you shoulder to shoulder with barbecue grand champions, mastering steaks, burgers, chicken, and more on a variety of grills. Program includes meals, recipes, and a step-by-step grilling manual, all for half the price of a full-day class. Grab this last-minute Father's Day bargain now at SouthernThunderBBQ.com. That's SouthernThunderBBQ.com.
Once again, the violence comes from the left. If we're going to have hate speech laws, then let's use them. Anyone who utters free Palestine from now on should be immediately arrested for hate speech because it's calling for the genocide of the Jewish people. Hell with the Palestinians.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. Los back from Nashville, just outside of Nashville in Franklin, Tennessee, which is a beautiful, beautiful place with his daughter playing volleyball up there. And Jeray had wondered if it were you that let the zebra loose on the interstate.
It was not, but that was a local discussion.
I'm sure it was everywhere.
About how that thing was still evading the police.
Yeah, dude, just in and out. And there was a lady that filmed it. Like, she was in her car, sitting on the side, traffic stop and go, whatever. She's just easing forward on the interstate, and then all of a sudden,
zebra goes running
zebra
past
comes
people.
walking by.
Well, I know your fascination. You want a llama with a saddle.
That is right. Saddle train llama.
The zebra's a little bit more exotic than that.
Definitely.
But
if it was saddle trained,
you're not kicking that out.
No, who would?
It's pretty cool.
Those things look amazing.
Outside of a miniature giraffe, what more can you really want that's going to prove just how successful you are?
Well, in Alabama, there was a loose kangaroo a little while ago. They have captured the kangaroo.
That's good news. You see there was an alligator down in I think it was Florida, that didn't have a tail.
Yeah, I did see that.
Well, a lot of them will bite and eat each other.
Yeah, and they said that's probably what happened to this guy, is that some other alligator just bit it, and and it was just barely hanging on. Finally, I've never seen an alligator without a tail. It looked like the most odd thing that I've ever seen. It looks so weird.
If you ever watch Swamp People, and there's been like a whole lot of seasons of that.
I watched the very first season, at least a handful of episodes.
When they know they have like a monster in the area, it's when they will catch a gator and another gator comes along and eats that gator.
That's right.
And they're like, oh, it's been bitten in half.
Yeah, by the bigger gator.
Right.
Dude.
This is just, I have to know this. Would you go noodling?
No.
Yeah. So
you wouldn't do it?
We reach in the hole.
Yes.
They do it up in Chattanooga a lot.
I know it.
Right there on the Tennessee River.
Big old catfish.
Yeah. There's a I'm trying to remember who we gave the video to. I think it was Scotty McCreery, the country singer. We gave him a video of Girls Gone Noodling, which is based in Chattanooga, and it is just really pretty girls in bikinis putting their hands in those big holes and pulling out those huge fish.
I would love to do it. There's a big part of me that really wants to do it. The only thing that stops me is snapping turtle. Because you put it
in there,
you're not getting that finger back.
No, you're exactly right. Goodness gracious. It's fantastic.
If there's anybody listening that can guarantee a good noodling hole that doesn't have any turtles in it.
Yeah. Dude, and these fish are gigantic.
They're
if you've
huge.
never seen Girls Gone Noodling, or just anybody gone noodling, really, just do a quick Google search and find it. I mean, these fish are like, 5 feet long, man. They're huge.
Swamp People's so great.
Mammoth. Mammoth.
You're the bait.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. They see your arm and they're like, yes, I'll have that.
You're the bait.
Yeah. And then getting them out of there, you got to slide your arm back out just to get them under the, the lip.
Yeah.
Be able to pull the things out. They're gigantic. It's amazing. It's what it is. Absolutely amazing. I don't know if anybody does it here in town. Maybe on I don't know of anybody doing it. If you do, 404-741-1230, we'll let people know we're going to go noodling.
I just love the whole, I don't know anything about that. 404.
Yeah.
741-1230.
If anybody around here knows about
anybody around here, go noodling.
That's right. If
you gotta let us know.
Yeah, like they do up on the Tennessee River.
We're going to have a country summer. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, they're going to have the Summer of Love out in L.A. We're going to have a country summer.
Hell yeah.
Where we go fishing and have too much to drink and everybody's happy and gets along one another, waves the American flag.
A bad day of fishing is still a good day.
Amen. It is. There is a piece of audio I want you to hear, and it's so alarming. It is it's unbelievable. And you remember Donald Trump said freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. We fought for it, protected it, handed it to them to do the same. And one day we'll spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was like in the United States of America, where men were free. So you have what's happening in L.A. I want to play you a piece of audio. You won't understand what you're hearing, but I'll explain it to you. This is from a Islamic center in Philadelphia. Listen to this. What you're hearing is from the American Society Islamic Center in Philadelphia. What they're saying will blow your mind. These are children, mind you. And what they're saying is basically death to America. Yes, we want to kill the infidels. We will defend our land. We'll sacrifice our souls without hesitation. We will chop off their heads. We will liberate the sorrowful, exalted lands of Allah. We will torture the rebels. These are children in Philadelphia. You don't think that Ronald Reagan's statement stands out as prominent as ever when you have that in Philadelphia and you have the riots in L.A.? If you don't see what's happening under your nose in America, Ronald Reagan's quote is going to come true.
You have a handful of people that are actually pointing out this creep of, it's not just that you have a Muslim community, for instance, in Minnesota that's getting larger and larger, but it's that critical mass theory of when they get large enough, now they start making demands. They start turning into, we want Sharia law. Now, this only happens if you bring in enough people or you get them young enough and you start this stuff up. Like Texas is having a big fight about this right now.
A full city, like a city that runs itself. It's away from like Texas law.
Right. They're looking for their own autonomous city.
Yeah,
we're going to do things our way.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're not. You're not a world apart. But this is what occurs. And so, yeah, when you have, and you wonder, like, why are people, when it comes to the Palestinians, why are they always looking to fight so much? Well, they're inbred, and this is what they're taught.
Mm-hmm. From day one. From their birth, they're taught that Israel is the devil, Israel's evil, it's the great Satan, the United States, the great Satan. Like, it's sorrowful. It does my heart no good to hear children speaking like that, because one day they'll be an adult and you're going to have to deal with that. In some way, shape, form, or fashion, somewhere in the world, someone will have to deal with that type of radicalization. But it's scary to death that's happening in Philadelphia.
And just so we're clear, when it comes to asking AI about marriages in Palestine, estimated between 40 and 50% of all marriages inbred. This represents one of the highest rates in the world. A study of the Gaza Strip found 39.9% of marriages in the current generation were inbred, with 25% being first cousin marriages. This is a mentality that doesn't work for the rest of the world, especially the Western society.
But
it doesn't work.
But other countries surrounding them either. Egypt's like, nuh-uh, we're building a huge
We don't want
wall.
anything to do with you.
The Jordanians want nothing to do with it.
But so when you get this sort of stuff, even in a place like Philadelphia, don't think that it's just a little deal. Like, if they're comfortable doing this in your city, this then grows. It's always been this way. There's a reason why you have, once the population gets large enough, now they start making their demands. So you've got to keep this. Is part of the reason why we talk about when it comes to legal immigration into this country, we're always saying, do it the right way. I have no problem with anybody who comes here and does it the right way. I was just telling you a couple weeks ago, I got a friend of mine, been married for about 20 years, and his wife just became an American citizen. She'd been working to try and become an American citizen for like 14 years.
That's awesome, man.
And she finally got it done, like one of their proudest moments ever.
Yeah.
That is the sort of stuff we're talking about. And when it's interesting, when you start going through that process, it's funny how you're not really chanting death to America. It's funny how you don't really have that mentality.
No, because you're here to work and make a better life for yourself. And I know a lot of people who came here legally want that too. But you have to go through it the right way. You can't jump the line. You don't get to jump ahead of Los's friend's wife. You don't get to do that. That's not right. And everybody knows it. This is the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. This show's flown by. But
I've got some good news on the other side of the break.
Good. I can't wait to hear it, because Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man, the Democrats got their wish. He's back in America. Now they're second-guessing their wish. Next on Extra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Okay, let Trump and Musk continue with their childish little spat. I have a couple of words to say about the riots in Los Angeles. Number one, and this comes from my longevity on the air, I remember a couple of decades ago when there was a lot of dissension in Los Angeles by a group claiming Los Angeles belonged to them. República de Norteamericano, or the Republic of North America. They claimed that Los Angeles, California, Arizona, New Mexico, all stolen from Mexico, and they wanted it back. So that'll give you a little bit of the idea of the attitude that goes with the Hispanic communities in Los Angeles. So these riots aren't at all that unusual. Secondly, I watch a lot of court cam on TV. I have seen people sentenced to a lifetime in jail because they threw a rock at a car. It went through the windshield and killed somebody. These were usually kids. They thought it was funny. Let's go throw rocks at cars. Well, in Los Angeles right now, you have these masked activists throwing rocks, large rocks, at police vehicles, Customs and Border Patrol vehicles. Those rocks could hurt and kill somebody. Some agents have already been hurt. Bottom line, if you pick up a large rock the size of an eggplant and you toss it at one of these vehicles as it goes by, cops would be entirely within their rights to shoot your ass dead right where you stand, and I would love to see that happen. Attacks on law enforcement personnel have to end. You don't stand by and watch it. Get a cop with a rifle, somebody's throwing rocks, the next one he picks up, drop him right there. Sick to death of this crap. And if he survives, deport him. I have spoken. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
I'm Chad Pergram with the Speaker's Lobby. I didn't recognize the 917 New York number which called me, but there was no question who phoned after they left a message. The caller on the voicemail was utterly unmistakable. They didn't say their name. They didn't have to. Chad, you're the only one who missed me, croaked the voice. The voicemail was from the late New York Democrat Charlie Rangel, and he was essentially calling to assure me that he wasn't dead. After all, I was apparently the only member of the Congressional Press Corps who noticed that the New York Democrat had not voted or been anywhere near the U.S. Capitol in several weeks. I called his office to inquire if Rangel was all right, and then Rangel himself called me from his sickbed, so I could hear his signature jackhammer chopping through the asphalt of Manhattan voice to prove to this reporter that he was still among the living. I wanted you to hear it from me, said Rangel. He suffered from a bad back and a viral infection. Rangel passed away recently at age 94, but back in 2012, I may have been the only person who noticed that Rangel was absent, but I certainly won't be the only one now. With the Speaker's Lobby, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
Will there be more protests and clashes with law enforcement today? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. There have been 3 days of it so far in Los Angeles, angry over illegal immigration raids.
Protests need to be peaceful, period.
That's Mayor Karen Bass, but they weren't peaceful yesterday when things escalated with a lot of demonstrators in masks.
We saw the American flag burned. We saw Waymo, which are the robo-taxis, the self-driving taxis that are a common sight on the streets of L.A., set on fire, at least 3 of them, very close to the 101 freeway, which was completely shut down in both directions for a time because of those thousands of protesters. They were met with smoke grenades, tear gas, and some rubber bullet rounds fired by law enforcement.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt in downtown L.A., which is declared an unlawful assembly area. President Trump has Marines on standby to join the National Guard troops he deployed to L.A.
Well, we're going to have troops everywhere. We're not going to let this happen to our country. We're not going to let our country be torn apart.
That has angered Democrats like California Governor Gavin Newsom, who just told Fox 11 TV in L.A.
Donald Trump is reckless. He's immoral. He's taken the illegal and unconstitutional act of federalizing the National Guard, and he's putting lives at risk.
As for the immigration raids Friday that started it all, Borders are Tom Homan just told Fox.
We're arresting bad people. We were enforcing laws and following up on a serious criminal investigation on cartel financing.
A travel ban went into effect this morning that some Democrats call cruel and discriminatory, affecting countries the U.S. says doesn't have proper vetting for those coming here.
President Trump is now disallowing entry to the U.S. by citizens of 12 different nations. Among them are Somalia and Eritrea and Africa, Yemen, Afghanistan, and Iran in the Middle East, but also Haiti in the Caribbean.
Fox's Eben Brown. 7 more countries have partial restrictions, including Cuba and Venezuela. The Treasury and Commerce secretaries are in London, just starting a new round of trade talks with China. America's listening to Fox News.
U.S. Air Force Technical Sergeant Jesse Clark's military service came to an end after a chemical exposure caused a large tumor to form in his brain. As a result, he is paralyzed on the left side of his body, legally blind, prone to memory loss, and in a wheelchair. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation built this hero a new smart home to help him live a more independent life. Help heroes like Jesse Clark. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
He's coming. Here he goes. Surprise! Your table saw broke. Also, the warranty expired weeks ago, so you need to pay for a new one out of pocket.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Oh, and the replacement part you ordered doesn't fit, so it's completely useless. What a waste.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This is Tucker Carlson. You're listening to Atlanta's only conservative talk station, Extra 106.3, worldwide on the Extra app.
Dre knows me well. I texted him on Friday. I'm like, dude, we got to get some more Black Crowes in the rotation.
Ask and ye shall receive.
Buddy, there's just nothing better than the Black Crowes. That is Atlanta's band. You know, I mean, obviously went to Walton High School, just living life. And now that they've buried the hatchet, the brothers have buried the hatchet.
For now.
They're touring and everything's back in order. They're putting out, they put out a new record. God, I love the Black Crowes. Are you down with the Crowes, Los? Are you Black Crowes guy?
Yeah, I told you. I saw them play one very mediocre show.
That's right.
And one awesome show.
Yeah. Depending on which one.
I think they had enough of each other when I saw them play the mediocre show.
Yeah.
Then I saw them when they, kind of figured some things out, and it was a great show.
Dude, we saw them last summer. I think it was last summer. With Driving and Crying opened for them, and it was unbelievable. I don't remember back half of the show, I'll be honest.
Okay.
The first half, they sounded great. I run into issues when I get to concerts, man. The drinks flow easy, and then you forget.
Hey, can I ask you a little bit of a sidebar question in the 9 o'clock hour?
Yeah.
So did Bella end up joining the show on Friday?
No, she was at the golf tournament.
Because she's given a face, and I thought what happens is whenever Angela Morbido comes in, Bella pretty much just says, I'm not doing the show.
That's pretty much, that's what it felt like.
No.
That's what it felt like.
Weird scenario that, because they're not rivals. They're like, they should be friendly with one another about this stuff.
Dre and I had already talked about it. We're like, it's going to be great, man. Have Angela and Bella.
I know.
Just wearing things out.
I had to do my duties at the golf tournament.
And how'd that go?
It was great.
They make you a cart girl?
No.
Dre.
I wasn't a cart girl.
Did you just ride around, kind of see some people, pictures, fun times?
Yeah, working on that recap video and watching the interns and doing all that stuff.
Corralling, maybe?
Yeah.
Do you, are you above being a cart girl? You wouldn't enjoy.
Yeah, I don't think she'd be.
You wouldn't be down with that?
Slinging drinks.
But they get paid.
But they do get compensated well, and it's nice to work outside.
I did in college do the caddy girls, but it was more just driving men golfing around and getting paid for that.
Did anyone ask you to see your feet?
No feet. No feet fetish.
Because I had not heard of the site Secret Admirers until I met Bella, and she explained that.
Did you go on the website?
No.
I have not.
No. Nobody wants to go on that website.
No, I'm not saying to go and post.
No, nobody wants to see. That sounds.
Listen, I have like a search history, and I don't need my wife to be like, "Why are you on Secret Admirers?"
You don't need your.
I'm looking for women's feet.
You don't need your digital trail to be shared with the world.
No, the feet website is Feet Finder.
Oh, Feet Finder. Well, what's the one? What's that one then?
Secret. She told me it was a feet.
No, Secret Admirers is like the sugar daddy thing.
Oh, you just kind of mixed up. I see.
Feet Finder is
that was more straightforward.
Feet fetish things.
Okay.
Yuck.
You ever participated
in what?
For a few dollars?
In the feet one?
Yeah.
I mean, me and my friends all did it in college for a joke.
For a joke, did you make any money?
Well, we did. All four of us did our toes and took one group photo of just our toes. And we got $150, but we split between four of us.
Holy cow.
And used it at the bar at that night.
That is awesome.
Well, it was COVID. Like, there was no jobs really open.
Right. So, I mean, what else are you going to do with your feet?
Had to.
Girls got to eat.
Get money somehow.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't pick that ball up and run with it. I mean,
Feet Finder because.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you've seen that it worked already. It's gross as all go.
But what's weird about it?
So gross.
What's weird about it is you can only post a few times, and then you have to pay for an account.
Then you have to. Okay, that makes makes more sense.
That's why we would hop from phone to phone and do like a group feet photo.
See. I got you.
It sounds so bad.
Okay.
Yeah, but
it's so weird and gross.
You might be able to pay rent. On a regular basis, if you just had an account and you just posted your feet.
No, they don't make that much money. That's like an OnlyFans type thing.
Okay.
She's been researching.
Well, I mean, on my TikTok and Instagram, I'm finding out how much these girls are making on OnlyFans, and I'm like,
dude,
what is going on?
Crazy.
There's a girl named Sophie Rain who I think is about 2 years younger than me.
Of course, her name's Sophie Rain.
And she makes like millions. there's a girl named Camilla. They have like a content house type thing, and she asked her how much she made. She made last year, you want to know something? It's $4.2 million. Million!
There's a lot of lonely people.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
And there's an audience for everything.
Yes.
Everything.
I mean, the most up and up to the most gross and worst, there's an audience for everything.
It's kind of funny how it's split, though, because it can be, on the other hand, really like sexual, and then other people just post photos and don't talk to other people.
Well,
like some people...
Like, what do you mean post photos? Like,
just like some people like of them posting photos of them in like workout outfits, but like they're not entertaining anyone. Like people will send them money for like almost like an Instagram feed, and then you have the other hand where people like do lives and do all that.
OnlyFans at one point was like very chef oriented.
Chef?
Yeah,
Like
as in like cooking, and then it like as everything goes to this, it turns into, all right, you were paying for content to watch like chefs work, and then
it was topless
and then it
chefs.
turned into wow, we got to nudity quick.
Yeah. It's always
pretty
a
much.
slippery slope. It gets there quick. It always does.
I'm giving you guys the inside details.
No kidding. See, this is the information you get on Fridays.
Yeah,
With Bella, but she bailed out this Friday.
Listen, I got some good content after what happened last night. I'll tell you, it's coming on my Friday segment.
Okay. All right. Well, we can't wait. It is Burning One with Bella. We're way early in the week, but Friday about 9:30.
Have your mom
9:40.
call in.
Yes. Yeah. we get Mama to call in too. It's just
get Bella's mom.
They're asking about Mama Bella
when she's going to call in.
Birthday today, actually.
No, it's her birthday.
Sweet.
Happy birthday, Bella Mama.
There you go.
Send her some flowers.
Yes, please do. The Democrats, they were, if you recall,
Bella's mom is hot.
Well, don't say that loud. She's still in there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, okay, the mic is on, pal.
Oh, okay.
I feel like you forgot.
See, but she's not my coworker. Bella is, so you know.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, it'd be like,
it's her mama, right? I mean, she takes
people are protective of mama.
I know, but she enjoys the fact that we acknowledge that. Bella like gives us a thumbs up over it.
Because she says, mama is really good. She knows.
Yeah, she knows.
Yeah, that's fair.
She likes
point.
to acknowledge it. Yeah.
404-741-1230. Marty, what is on your mind?
I'd like to make a request. Lowest speed on OnlyFans.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Now I'm gonna warn you, and I appreciate the call, Marty.
Goodness.
My feet do have some Hobbit's foot look to them.
I think
all right?
there's a market.
But if you're into like some feet that look like they've been beaten up a little bit, like I might be your guy.
There is a market for it for sure. I can't imagine.
I'm getting some text from the camera. There's a market for Bella's mom too, apparently.
Oh wow.
Oh, has he finally looked into this? Because I sent. Okay.
Yes.
Full disclosure. I sent this over to Flounder. I sent him a link, and that's what I think.
Bella's mama.
What Bella sent me, I then forwarded. Remember when she shared with us?
I do. Yep.
Is she a single woman?
Well, I sent that to Flounder, and I think that's what got Kimmer going. Now, you can ask Kimmer, but I think that was the trail where Bella shared with me that one day on the air with us. Then I shared with Flounder, and then it got over to Kimmer, and now Kimmer has been able to pick up the trail here like a bloodhound.
Driving that Mustang around, just looking.
Look at here.
Where is she?
I got some things.
Where's your mama, Bella?
That's right. I'd like to talk to her. I got some things I need to talk to her about.
I've got some things I need to talk to her about.
She needs to know.
Oh my gosh.
She doesn't live until she's heard this.
That's right. Let me tell you.
We're going to have words.
When she finds out she'll be a divorced woman, she'll come running to the Kimmer.
Oh,
it was such a home wrecker.
That's right.
Oh, that's fun.
Chaotic Cupid.
Oh my gosh. So the Democrats got exactly what they wanted. Kilmar Abreu Garcia is back in the USA.
Oh, welcome home.
Wait,
back.
all right.
The Maryland man is back.
Well, not home, but
he's not exactly home. He's not in Maryland.
No, he was home.
Yes, he was home. Now he's actually been taken from his home and brought to our home.
Well, I thought it was Venezuela.
El Salvador.
El Salvador.
There you go. So you remember the Supreme Court said you got to facilitate this, and the Trump administration had no intention of doing it until they thought, wait a minute, maybe we should bring him back. Maybe we should try him in a public court because we know he's a gangbanger. We know he is MS-13. He was he's been two judges have made that decision that's the case. He couldn't go home because they were afraid the
rival gang would kill him.
The opposing gang would kill him. But do you know why? It's because he killed someone's mother in the rival gang in El Salvador.
He's just a Maryland man.
Right. That's what they want.
Just a Maryland man.
Jamie Raskin, that's what he said.
Now,
that's what Chris Van Hollen said.
This happened over the weekend while I was in Nashville. You then got the information of, oh, and by the way, he's going to be charged with human trafficking, and we're going to go after him on this. Now, if you read the Associated Press, I don't know if you saw their post, they went well out of their way to make it sound like he was apprehended while transporting people.
Yes, that's right. Not trafficking people and
not
sexually
human
abusing
trafficking them.
And then sexually abusing the women that were being trafficked. He was into child pornography. He's a pedophile. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. That's why this weekend, Jamie Raskin kind of pushed back and said, no, we never defended him. We just wanted him to have due process. Donald Trump has got the Trump card when it comes to Maryland man. He's going to hang this on the neck of Democrats for the midterms and for the foreseeable future. Because not only will he be able to say, this is who they defended. They went down and had, Chris Van Hollen went down and had cocktails with the man in El Salvador. So they've got this and they've got L.A. That's the Democrat Party.
I've never seen so many misplays in the span of such a short amount of time. Like, once you recognize that Maryland man was not going to stand up, that this was a gangbanger and somebody who has a criminal record, a criminal history, to the point where even his lady was like, I have to file a restraining order because I'm scared of this guy.
Twice.
And yet, they decided, well, we'll cast in with this. This is another misplay on their part. And the Trump administration has just decided, okay, we know how much this helps us. Sure, if you really want to find out who this guy is, let's bring him back. Had the Democrats just let it go, it goes away. It would have gone away weeks ago.
But they can't. They can't. They were so married to it. They saw this as their shining moment to shake off their horrible polling numbers. And yet, they did nothing but buried themselves again. They took, this is not even an 80-20 issue. This is like a 95-5, a 97-3, a 99-1. That's where this stands. Everybody knew what this dude was. Nobody wanted him brought back except the Democrats. And the Trump administration gave them exactly what they wanted. They brought him back. And then they found out what they brought him back for, and now they're distancing themselves from it.
Let me get this straight. So he's a member of MS-13.
Yes.
The two courts have already decided that that's the case. Who is being sought after by a rival gang for murder.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Murder of a rival gang man's mother.
Who has had his old lady filed twice against him to stay away from her.
Mm-hmm.
Who then was picked up in the state of Tennessee for human trafficking, in which case the Biden administration said to turn him loose.
Right. Correct. All that's correct. Child pornography. Don't forget that part.
Oh, I forgot the child pornography.
Sexually abusing the people that he was transporting.
By
illegally.
all means, Democrats,
have at it.
Cast your lot.
That's exactly right.
Love it.
And they were celebrating when they learned that
But he didn't get his due process.
And now that's what Jamie Raskin's saying. He's like, well, I wasn't defending him. I just said he needed due process. No, there's video evidence. You on CNN defending him, saying that the charges the Trump administration was using on television, letting the American people know about, the ones that we just read off, all of them, Jamie Raskin on CNN saying, that's all made up. It's all made up. Now, all of a sudden, it's filed in Tennessee court officially, Jamie Raskin.
I mean, I used to need, what was it, NAMBLA?
Bill O'Reilly used to report on them 25 years ago.
Man-Boy Love Association.
Yes.
I used to have that. Now, I'm able to actually call Democrats the party of pedophilia, and it totally hits the mark. Now I get to add in all of this too. The party of illegal immigration, the party of criminal illegal immigrants, the party of murdering American citizens when you're not one.
Yes.
That's all you. It's all the party of human trafficking and child sex trafficking.
Yeah, that's what you got. That's exactly what it is.
Have at it. Good job, y'all.
But let the weight of that. When you hear all of those charges that are being filed against, and they already have proof of it all, The Tennessee State Patrol already have all the proof. They've got all of it on video. Everything is there.
He's pulled over, and they're like, who are all these people?
They all the people in the back that were being trafficked gave the same address, which was a warehouse back in Texas that they were being trafficked out of. Every one of them. And the Tennessee Highway Patrol has it all on film. They've got all of his records. Everything he's done, the 2 times that his wife filed restraining orders against him. This is the Maryland man that they told you about. This is the Maryland man that was sent down to El Salvador, where he's from, and needed to be brought back to the United States of America to get his due process. Well, he is. He is, Democrats. And he's yours.
Absolutely. Own it.
That is at your feet.
He's your guy.
Now, let's start doing the math. And I'm not good at math, so I'm going to have to get Los to help me with this. But
Abrego Garcia belongs to you.
Kilmore Abrego Garcia times riots in L.A., also supported by the Democrats. That seems like a big number of people that are going to say, no, I'm not voting for a Democrat.
And keep in mind, we also are talking about the party that can't tell you what a woman is. Like, there's some foundational aspects of this that just don't work out.
Trust the science unless the science goes against the narrative.
Right. This is how you lose. This is why you've been losing. If not for a rigged election in 2020, you ain't sniffing this stuff. You know?
And if you want to know why your numbers are so bad.
19% approval rating for Democrats.
19%.
How low can we go?
Buddy, with this and then what's happening in L.A., and if it pops up around the rest of the country, 19 is going to look like the promised land. They're going to be begging to get back to 19 because things are going to be so dire. That's what the Democrat Party has become. Maybe that's what they always were, but now it's out loud. Now it's in front of everybody.
Boys,
everybody can see it.
Stephen Miller took them apart this morning, about 20 minutes ago. Said California is the largest sanctuary state in America. The state has ordered every police department and sheriff's office in the state not to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement, even if they had committed grievous crimes. Illegals are given free welfare, health care, and every other conceivable state benefit. They are made immune in every way. Simply put, the government of the state of California aided, abetted, and conspired to facilitate the invasion of the United States.
While they waved another country's flag in your face.
Hey, can I lighten it up just real quick?
Yes.
Got a tip from our great listener, Robbie. Country call out to him.
Yep.
Lake Weiss is where I can get some noodling action.
Okay, Lake Weiss over in Alabama.
Yes, sir. And he extended the invitation to you two boys. He will be at Good Old Days on Friday night.
What?
With his band, Waleska.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I need to play Waleska on my Sunday night Georgia Country show. Sound like to me.
I'm looking at him right now.
Let's go.
Sounds like a good time.
Yes, sir. Waleska, dude, I love it. Named after the city, I'm sure that they're from in Waleska, Georgia, I would imagine.
It says here that the band Waleska is a southern rock band promising to bring fire, water, rock, and roll to people all across the world.
And at Good Old Days on Friday night. Gaw. Can't get no better than that. Appreciate y'all listening in to the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. 9 o'clock hours brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999. Windows, doors, siding, roofing, gutters, they do all of that stuff on the outside of your home. 10% off or 12-month 0% financing. Just call them today. 8779-SOUTHERN, southernexteriors.co. When we continue. Oh, the Clintons are back on The View. Now, you know what that's going to cause. That's going to cause chaos. And you'll probably get to hear it as we play it next on Extra.
The Extra 106.3 app is your live connection to the station, streaming free across Georgia. But it's also loaded with all our original shows and podcasts. Listen to exclusive shows from Janelle King, Ben Burnett, and so many more. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
There is not a bad time to do home improvement. I mean, what is standing in your way? Boost that curb appeal, make that home look like the home that you fell in love with when you bought it. You can get started today. Roofing, siding, gutters, windows, doors. They do it all at Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on, and right now you get 10% off any job or 12 months 0% financing. The great thing about Southern, I believe, is not only that they have 200,000 jobs under their belt, but they have a foreman on site. So anything that you've signed up for, right? Whatever your job is, whether it's a new roof or maybe it's new roof and new siding, whatever it is, they have a form in there to make sure it goes to plan. And tell you, I did some interior construction work, and it just got finished. It's 99.9% finished. We went through 2 contractors, and the 0.9 or the 0.1% is never going to get finished. It's never. We've just written it off. It's just, okay. They don't do that at Southern Exteriors. So don't fall into that trap. Call people that get the job done, and they will be there for you, hold your hand through the whole process. 8779-SOUTHERN, southernexteriors.co, 8779-SOUTHERN, southernexteriors.co.
Hey, Georgia neighbors, it's time to expect more from your Medicare Advantage. Discover Sonder Health's custom plans tailored just for Georgians. Saunders offers unique benefits, including special plans for those living with chronic conditions. Some plans even come with grocery or gas benefits to support your overall well-being. Sonder Health makes it easy to get the coverage you need. See for yourself what today's Medicare Advantage can do for you. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com, a healthier state of life. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO and PPO with Medicare contracts. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. Okay, you're driving along. Suddenly you hear that horrible sound of metal and crunching. It's an accident. Even if it's a little minor fender bender, man, that could be a nightmare. First, obviously, take care of yourself. But before you make a deal with an insurance company or anybody else, call David Van Sant with Van Sant Law. You know why? Because he used to work for the insurance company, so he knows how to get the right settlement and right away. Van Sant Law. Don't forget, if you don't get paid, they don't get paid. Protecting your interests. Insurance is great, but it's complicated. 855-GA-INJURY or vansantlaw.com.
Neil Borch here. Maybe you've already taken the steps to improve your health, maybe save your life. You're using a CPAP for your sleep apnea. I've been using one for well over 20 years. So right now I'm here to tell you about a source for CPAPs and CPAP supplies here in the Atlanta area. CPAPs, etc. They're in Alpharetta. They have whatever you need. Roddy and Sharon are your CPAP experts, and they'll ship nationwide. More information, CPAPs.com.
Still need a Father's Day gift? Give Dad or yourself a 4-hour, hands-on, grill with the pros experience at Southern Thunder Barbecue School. We'll put you shoulder to shoulder with barbecue grand champions, mastering steaks, burgers, chicken, and more on a variety of grills. Program includes meals, recipes, and a step-by-step grilling manual, all for half the price of a full-day class. Grab this last-minute Father's Day bargain now at SouthernThunderBBQ.com. That's SouthernThunderBBQ.com.
I'm Anna Eliopoulos with your Fox True Crime Minute. Jurors will continue to deliberate the fate of disgraced Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein after a judge refused to declare a mistrial. The defense's request came after a juror asked to be removed from the case because he felt his fellow jurors were treating another member in a, quote, unfair and unjust way. Judge Curtis Farber telling him that there were no other alternate jurors to replace him, and his concerns didn't warrant a dismissal. Weinstein is being retried in New York on sexual misconduct charges after his conviction was overturned last year over improper testimony. Weinstein is now facing 2 counts of criminal sex acts and 1 count of rape. If convicted, he faces up to 25 years in prison on the sex acts charges and up to 4 years for the rape. He was also convicted in California to 16 years, but is appealing his case there. There's more on this story at foxnews.com or subscribe to the Fox True Crime Podcast. I'm Anna Eliopoulos with your Fox True Crime Minute.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Monday, June 9th. Governor Kemp confirmed at least 1 fatality from Saturday night's severe thunderstorms in Cobb County. Over 50 trees fell in the high winds. Thousands were in the dark Sunday morning. Crews worked Sunday to restore power. More scattered thunderstorms are expected later today. A newly renovated Cobb County Park officially reopened on Saturday after undergoing Phase 1 of updates. Paces Mill Park is located in the Chattahoochee River National Recreation Area. The park features new trails, parking, and amenities along the river. Phase 2 begins in 2026. And an Atlanta high school graduate is going viral after arriving to work at Burger King wearing his graduation medals just hours after the ceremony. A customer who said she admired his work ethic started a GoFundMe, which has now raised over $200,000. The student says he will use the money to go to college this fall. Today's weather partly cloudy with scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening. Temperatures will reach the mid-80s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Los has a uncanny ability to take something that that you're uncomfortable with and put it under a magnifying glass.
Yeah. It's really
it's a skill.
Quality skill.
It is.
Really puts everyone on the defensive and makes me then the aggressor in almost every situation.
One day, I hope you get to experience it like I have.
Like we said, we had the scenario where Bella showed up here, and all we had to do, because Bella is very northeastern in your face.
Without a doubt.
Like, she's going to let you know. As soon as you start talking about her mother, she goes into full defense mode, and that's how you're in control.
Yeah, that's right. That's when you.
That's what you got to do.
Commandeer the.
That's when
ship.
you commandeer the ship, and you're in charge.
Too bad Greta Thunberg can't do that.
Like when we go down the hall and we talk to Chris Domino, Baseball Jesus, or when he joins us during the Braves playoff season, which will not happen this year.
No, it will not.
When he joins us, the way to put him on the defensive is ask him about how his daughters keep needing his money.
That's never going to change.
No,
ever.
But he's always like, seriously, like again, because they're both in college.
Never going to change.
And that turns him from ultra aggressive dude to just like rolls over on his back. He's like, oh, just he's beaten down by it.
Well, there's that, but there's just something about, because it's going to happen to you too.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, your baby girls, they're always going to be your baby girls. Always, it's never changing.
But there are things you can bring up where I'm going to still stay the aggressor when it comes to them.
Not Domino.
Not Domino. You're like, so how much they take from you this month? And he's just like, oh my God.
Dude,
and now he's like,
embarrassed to tell you the number.
Yes, he's just frustrated. He's beaten.
I love it. Baseball Jesus.
In your case, I just bring up coworkers. And,
yes, that's right.
You know, I do that and suddenly you get all awkward.
Well, I mean,
I get it. You know, it happens. Yeah. You don't like talking behind other people's backs.
Never, ever. I would never. Or I try not to. If it's something I wouldn't say to them with them in my presence, I try not to say it otherwise. Just because I just doesn't.
No, I get it.
It's not good.
You want to make sure you're upfront with everybody.
I feel like you're that way too. I feel like everything you say, you would say in front of me.
I pretty much say it. The reason why I bring stuff up when we talk about other people is because I've typically already had the discussion with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bill Clinton. We need to have a discussion about Bill Clinton because he was on The View. When the Clintons get on The View, it's bad news because it's just, or in this, I take that back. It's maybe actually good news.
It's indicative of what's really going on. All right. Part of this, I think, is just age. Like when we saw Joe Biden get up in front of the entire world, and when he talked about how when you had the war that had just kicked off with Russia and Ukraine, and they talked about the oil and gas pipeline, and he flat out just tells you, we can blow it up. Yeah, we can get rid of it. It's like, you're not supposed to say that. That is a discussion point that happened behind closed doors, and he just suddenly spouted it off because obviously dementia and cancer and everything else. I think what we're now starting to see with a guy like Bill Clinton, we're now starting to see the age show up. Remember, what did he do here in Georgia? Remember when he talked about some of the missteps of the Biden administration? We're all sitting back going like, he's campaigning for Kamala Harris.
That's right.
And he's completely just shooting her in the foot.
That's right.
So I want you to take a listen. This is from The View when asked about the use of the judiciary system against Donald Trump. And Bill Clinton just puts it right on out there.
Beyond President Trump's big, beautiful bill, he is working to dismantle, in my view, our foundational institutions, right? He's intimidating law firms and universities. He's stifling media. He's illegally disappearing people and deporting people. And he's now threatening to impeach judges. So are you confident that the courts will hold? And what concerns you most about what he's doing now?
That the courts won't hold until we have the midterm elections.
Yeah.
But because the Supreme Court's made some good decisions, which so far have been ignored, like when they sent that Salvadoran man, who his own State Department said was entitled to be here and have a full hearing, and they shouldn't send him away. They sent him away, then manufactured a picture that made it look like he had MS-13 on his hands, which he didn't. And the guy's still there in jail. And so I'm worried about that.
That is not, first off, a guy who, I mean, we're used to charismatic Bill Clinton.
Yeah, those
90s Bill Clinton. Again, he's older now. He's in that whole sputtering mode, and he is just basically spouting off talking points. I'm like, no, you can have your El Salvadorian man back.
We brought him back.
We brought him back for you.
Matter of fact, this weekend.
Claim him. He's yours. But as he points out, the judicial system is there to try and block Trump until the midterm elections. That's all it's being used for.
Hoping.
Because they have no power otherwise.
He's praying that that'll hold.
They don't have the House or the Senate. They have nothing. They have no way to stop anything going on. So they're having to use these judges.
These activist judges that were put in place by Biden and Obama. The ones that see the case coming down the line. They know what they're going to choose. They know what they're going to rule before it ever hits their desk.
Even when we've already had precedent that doesn't allow them to rule in such ways.
Because they basically are the president. They can make every decision or stop every decision that a duly elected president would make. And that's what they're doing.
See, this is the short-sightedness of the communists. They were so willing to destroy the American system that they actually created scenarios that hurt their power moving forward. I like to think, you impose such crazy things during COVID and during those first few years during the Biden administration that now no one listens to federal authorities. No one really cares when you have like some sort of like, watch out for this next issue that we have going on in healthcare. No one pays attention to the news media. Like, you were so crazy about it, you damaged the brand. You damaged your powers moving forward. Now you're just doing the same thing to the judicial system.
That's right. Remember, it was not too long ago that they were trying to get rid of the filibuster because they couldn't overcome it. So we're going to get rid of it. And we pointed out the short-sightedness because one day you'll be out of power, a la right now, and you'll need it. Yeah. And Cory Booker used it. Just imagine if they'd gotten their way and then lost that too. But they don't care. They use whatever they can in the moment, and the results be damned. It does not matter how it affects them moving forward. They don't think long-term enough. They can't think long-term enough. They're emotional.
And so Bill Clinton ends up just putting it on out there. Just tells you flat out, this is what it exists to do. Results and long-term damage be damned. Doesn't matter to them.
Bill Clinton used to be this charming, dude, he was genius. In his day, when he was the president, he was genius. Now, I didn't agree with everything he did, but he ruled as a moderate, and he was effective in every aspect of political life.
It's probably the last of the Democrats until things move here in maybe a decade, where you would say pretty close to a blue dog Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is one of the people along with Newt Gingrich. The era of big government is over. Imagine that actually was the team that said the era of big government is over.
Boy, were they wrong.
They took care of it for that time being, and it came right on back.
Which it always does. And it came back stronger this time than ever before. Think about how much big government was involved in 2020 with COVID. Just the strong arm of big government pushing down on regular people every day. You will get a shot, or you will be taken out of the workforce. You will not go out of your home. You will stay there. Doesn't matter if you don't get to go to church. You can go to the liquor store now. But you can't go to church.
Yeah, I do remember.
It was just the backwards nature, but that's the way communists think. I mean, the communists, you worship at the altar of government.
Yes. All the time.
That's why church was the first thing they were going to scratch off the list. That was the first people that were going to shut down.
Cannot go to church. Can go to the liquor store anytime you want.
And I've been to a liquor store plenty of times in my life. I'm not putting down the liquor store.
No.
I like to have a sip too.
I'm a giant fan. It's a lot of fun. I've been there more than church.
But you should be able to go to church before you go to the liquor store, in my opinion. And you weren't allowed to do that, which is insanity. Absolutely insane. But that was...
it's a different time.
It is. And I think you're right. You said a decade before they get back. It might be longer than a decade.
It might be.
Only because of what's happening.
The trend line is not looking good.
Yeah, only for what's happening right now with Maryland Man that they got back, that they asked for, that they were celebrating on Friday.
Look what we did. We got him back. Okay.
And then Saturday rolls around. And they're like, okay, here's all the file. Here's all the charges filed. This is what he's guilty of.
No, we don't. We don't want him back.
Yeah. Jamie Raskin's like, no, we never defended him. We just said he needed his due process. No, Jamie, you defended him. You said all of those charges were made up. Now we get to see it. play out in the court. Are those charges made up? Because something tells me.
It's a pretty open and shut case. They showed up to his truck, bunch of people.
They had no idea where they were going, and they all used the same address. The restraining orders from his wife.
It's not supposed to be this obvious. Politics is supposed to have some sort of allusion to it. Like the game, and they're not playing with any games anymore. It's all out in the open.
Praise Elon Musk.
Yeah,
he's the reason. Otherwise, it wouldn't be. I don't think I would ever think Kilmar Abrego Garcia was a good dude. When two judges say he's a member of MS-13, we can't send him home because the rival gang will kill him, that seems pretty straightforward. But without Twitter, would I have known that? That's the big question. Would you have known that? Would any of us have done that?
I'm going to have to, I always talk about lists I want to make. One of the lists I do want to make at some point are all the things the left believes that all they have to do is actually get on social media or look into it a little bit, and then they would know the truth. For instance, we had all this stuff with Simone Biles and Riley Gaines, and it was, well, who cares? That woman finished 5th. Like, in one race. Mm-hmm. The one we're talking about was the one she tied and didn't get the trophy. But they don't know that. They have no idea that she is that kind of an athlete.
She looks like a man. That's what Simone Biles said. She looks like a man.
She actually had the trophy given to a man rather than her. Yep. But they're like, but she finished 5th. It's like, that's a different race entirely. Donald Trump didn't even call in the National Guard for January 6th. All right, we already know that Mayor Bowser, in writing, rejected that. Same with Nancy Pelosi.
Right.
Like, these are not hard things to prove.
Yet they still run with them.
This is what they run with. It's a level of ignorance. It's incredible.
And the echo chamber doesn't allow them to get out of it. Because they've heard it so many times, they've committed it to memory.
Yes.
So they just spout it out. Just spout it out. My Aunt Peg, she knows them all. Every one of them.
Every one of them.
And she can recall them in a moment's notice, and will. There's a article from the New York Post out that I think it kind of goes back to what you were talking about with the LA riots earlier, that some LA migrant protests fueled by taxpayer-funded group with Democrat ties, another with a tie to the CCP. This is your tax dollars at work against you again. Now that USAID is gone, it's the NGOs that still get that money and then filter it out, and this is what happens. That's the thing. That's the big question. Will they then shut down the NGOs? Because that has to happen. If you're fueling crap like this, you don't deserve federal dollars. You don't deserve any tax dollars. It's got to go. All right, when we come back on Extra 106.3, thehill.com, they're convinced that Jasmine Crockett is the next person that should lead the Democrat Party. I'm all for it. Next on Extra.
The Morning Extra on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3 FM.
Hey, Atlanta, let's talk about True Prep, your superstore when it comes to being prepared for anything and everything that can happen. I've told you before, because of Hurricane Michael in 2018, I'm really big into freeze-dried food. I keep quite a bit in the basement just because you never know. Now, we kind of had a little bit of a never-know scenario over the weekend. We lost power for 4 hours. Okay, 4 hours isn't crazy. What if it was 4 days? Like, what would you do? This is where I tell you about True Prep and being ready for these scenarios. Also, when it comes to personal security, they have everything you could want at the best prices in the area. Use guns and gear. You can go to their website, trueprep.com, where they have sales and clearance hot deals every single day. And those update throughout the day, so you can always check out. Also, events and workshops. Every single month, True Prep has different stuff that's going to help you. Maybe it's an introductory to preparedness. Maybe it's a weapons safety course. In this case, they've got one coming up that's going to be open this weekend. That's going to be a handgun care and maintenance class. These are things that True Prep offers on a regular basis to help you be prepared for whatever could possibly happen. Again, go over to Kyle Parkway in Marietta or go to trueprep.com. That's TRUprep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow with True Prep.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, June 9th. The Atlanta Braves have lost 7 straight after being swept in San Francisco, including a 4-3 final yesterday. The Braves do continue the road trip this evening in Milwaukee. That's Algonquin for the good land as they take on the Brewers. First pitch is set for 7:40. It'll be Chris Sale and Aaron Sabale on the mound. The NBA Finals are now tied at a game apiece as the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Indiana Pacers last night in OKC, 123-107. Game 3 is set for Wednesday night in Indianapolis. And the Stanley Cup Finals resume tonight with the series tied at 1 between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. The Panthers host tonight from Sunrise, Florida. Puck drops at 8 o'clock. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Military veterans are eager to transfer their skills and experiences to civilian life, but lack trusted connections to expedite their path to success. That is, until they meet the Warrior Alliance. The Warrior Alliance goes the extra mile to reach veterans in their communities so they do not have to take this journey alone. With over 40 partners across 10 service areas, your donation goes a long way toward achieving maximum impact for a veteran and their family. Go to thewarrioralliance.org to donate today and commit to helping the Warrior Alliance change thousands of lives for the better.
The future of business in Georgia is bright, and Georgia Power is a driving force behind the businesses and organizations that are vital to the growth of the state. Just ask Mike Plant, President and CEO of the Braves Development Company.
I think back about 2003 when I started with the Braves and just knew we had to create a destination that people wanted to come to year-round. We had a blank canvas, and I think we had a pretty good feel for what would be a year-round destination, mixed-use development, lifestyle center, all those. Fortunately, we have this incredible relationship long-term with Georgia Power. Right away, they saw our vision, they got our vision, they understood it, and they knew they needed to be a big part of that. They are leaders as far as being part of this community. We don't have power, we don't have life, So, they've been a great partner of ours, and they're there with us every step of the way.
To learn more about how Georgia Power is helping businesses big and small, visit GeorgiaPower.com and tune in all year to discover how they're powering the future of Georgia.
Hey, it's Front Office Lowe's here to tell you about a new company that is changing the way people buy their next pre-owned car or truck. At The Honest Car Guy, they offer a completely transparent way to purchase a vehicle. You pay what he pays, plus a small, honest fee. You can choose any make or model. He will search the country for the best deal out there. He'll handle the paperwork, your trade-in, shipping, and even give you the bill of sale. Friends, I've done the research, and this is a buying process that you can trust. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1 or visit online at honestcarguy.com.
This is Bruce Hagan. The law in Georgia has changed, and it's going to be harder than ever to get fair treatment on your personal injury claim. If you have been injured through no fault of your own, call me. You need a real lawyer, and that's who we are. We're not some TV and billboard lawyers who don't even know how to get to the courthouse. I've been a Georgia super lawyer for 20 consecutive years, and that's because I try cases and I win cases. We get results for our clients, and we can get results for you. Hagan-Law.com.
This June 24th marks 3 years since Roe v. Wade was overturned. Now, what you may not know is abortion numbers have surged to a 10-year high. This news is really hard to comprehend, but it gets worse. The battleground has shifted from the courtroom to our homes. Today, over 60% of abortions happen through the abortion pill, taken in silence, often alone. And preborn network clinics are standing in the gap, meeting women in their most desperate hour. And this is what they're seeing. Young mothers terrified, misled, or delivering their babies, tiny, perfectly formed, onto bathroom floors. These precious babies, once called just tissue, now lie lifeless. 11% of those women who take the abortion pill will suffer serious health complications. Countless others will carry emotional scars for the rest of their lives. When you give to preborn, you're not just saving a baby, you're saving a mom, too. You're giving her hope, financial support, and the truth. Your tax-deductible gift makes this mission possible, so donate now. Dial pound 250, say the keyword baby. That's pound 250 baby. Or go to preborn.com/Beck. That's preborn.com/Beck. Sponsored by Preborn.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Xtra 106.3. Hey, it's Pete, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
America had and has cancer. The cancer of big government. Donald Trump, Elon Musk, they are the chemotherapy that is going to kill this cancer.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Xtra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Xtra 106.3 app.
TheHill.com is a website I read often just to know where the left is. Like, where are they going with whatever's happening in the world? They said something that I completely agree with. They've got a person that they feel like can wipe away the Kilmar Abrego Garcia issue. They can wipe away the issue that they're having with the rioting in Los Angeles. They can wipe away all this stuff. They just got to rely on the right person.
Is it Batman?
It is not Batman. That would be a wiser choice. I like this choice because I don't like the Democrat Party.
Is it Maverick?
It is not. Nope. It is
Dolly Parton.
No, Jasmine Crockett.
Oh, I was way off.
Yeah, I know. No one saw this coming because nobody's stupid enough to make that decision.
I thought it was Batman.
Yeah, that's right. It's not Batman. It's Jasmine Crockett. She says that. They say that Jasmine Crockett can bring the Democrat Party back from the brink, is what she says. This writer.
Explain that one to me.
Yeah, that this political industrial complex these days, Jasmine Crockett, she can navigate through it. She can be enthusiastic. She can talk to Democrats, talk to people that would vote for Democrats, speak to them in a way that they're going to understand, that they could relate to, and fix the Democrat Party. I say yes. I say let's do this. I say don't wait. Let's start serenading her now. That way she's ready for the next election cycle, whatever. We want her out in front of as many people as we can possibly get her out in front of.
Now, I fear 4 years ago, 6 years ago, Jasmine Crockett. Polished, professional, good to look at. Mm-hmm. You're checking all the boxes.
Yeah, pretty lady.
Then she started trying to do what she thought is like a caricature of a black person.
Right.
And now she started talking in ways that no longer, you have a certain audience that'll always appeal to. But when you talk about what works, being able to hold an audience is not based on playing a character. It's being like, what version of you are you? And that's what she does. She comes across as very fake.
Her brashness, to your point, might strike some in the Beltway as stiff or rude or disrespectful, but it's actually powerful reflection of the alienated millions of Democrat voters and how they feel. That's what they feel like the Democrat Party is missing. That's what they feel like.
Playing a caricature of a black person?
That's right. Just pretend.
If only.
Yeah. Pretend. Fake it. And that's going to... It's just like the Speaking with American Males, $20 million that they spent to a woman that runs Media Matters, to an avowed leftist. They paid her, and she came up with nonsense answers.
We feared Barack Obama since 2004 because when he got up at the DNC, we all went, uh-oh. That's coming.
That's a winning message right there.
That's going to be something you're going to have to deal with moving forward.
And we did. And he was super successful. The worst president for the United States ever.
Very much the Manchurian candidate.
Right. But very successful.
Successful, very slick, very polished. And that is what I fear. If Gavin Newsom didn't have the record that he does, if he didn't have half of his state that says this is broken, this is wrong. The guy was recalled. I was like, this is not a successful governor. And obviously with what you have going on right now, it's just going to add on to it. But if he didn't have any of that stuff, you'd worry about Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'd
because
be concerned about
it's a
Gavin
good
Newsom.
package. He's got this huge smile, the slick back hair. He's a good looking dude.
Yep.
He's Barack Obama again.
It's just interesting that the Hill still doesn't get it. Yeah, if you're pointing at Jasmine Crockett saying this is the future, then you just still don't understand it.
They say that she didn't come through the typical political mechanisms.
Yeah, she did.
There.
She sure did, and then she decided, I'm going to play a character now.
That's right. I'm changing. They say instead she partnered with a candidate recruitment organization called Run for Something, and they helped her win her first election back in 2020. But if you recall, to your point, Los, back in 2020, she wasn't playing the caricature. She was playing a really smart young woman, which people paid attention to. Now people dismiss her because she sounds...
Oh, I've got one.
One of her quotes?
Yeah, just like this.
Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now.
Oh, yeah. Governor Hot Wheels.
And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot-ass mess, honey.
But that's the Democrat Party. They say you got to cuss more to relate to.
If you heard her 4 years ago, that's the one I fear. I would be afraid of Jasmine Crockett 4 years ago. That I don't fear.
Yeah. Voters are no longer looking for the candidates who embody the perfect politician. That's playing out of the old playbook. They're looking they're looking for someone with lived experience like Jasmine Crockett. She embodies all this. She clearly knows who she is and what she believes. No, she doesn't.
Could you imagine if you put her on a debate stage with J.D. Vance as far as lived experience? She would be destroyed.
Shred from shred.
Yes.
That's why I'm so...
Because she's playing a character.
That's why I'm so in favor of the Hill being...
By all means.
Picking,
let it be her.
That's why I'm so in favor of this.
Run her on a panel with Scott Jennings.
But it always goes back to the same thing. They think to themselves, ooh, why don't we put up another woman as the cat lady party, as the party of the incel man? Let's just go get another woman. It's like, you can't win with them. Because once you have a woman who starts spouting crazy liberal ideas, it makes us all turn our brains off to them.
Right. You just don't pay them any attention anymore.
It's like, I don't want to hear about it.
Like Jasmine Crockett. When's the last time you listened to anything but besides what Jeray just played there?
Let me tell you the difference that you run into.
I hadn't heard from her in months.
Jasmine Crockett, when they get going, when the liberal woman starts going, she's telling you about all the things she wants you to do. When Kristi Noem starts talking, she talks about leaving you alone. Which one sounds more appealing?
Being left alone. That's what everybody in America wants, and especially dudes.
Dudes
want to be left alone.
Leave me alone. Just let me be, let me do my thing, and we'll be happy.
Yeah.
That's all.
Jasmine Crockett does not believe that. She wants to be involved at every level of your life. She wants government involved at every level of your life. She don't want to leave you alone.
What a beating.
It would be great. That's why the Hill is exactly right. And Max Burns, who wrote this, brilliant man. Yes, sir. That's exactly what they should do.
Runner, please.
Please do. Jasmine Crockett can bring the Democrat Party back from the brink, says Max. And I endorse. Fully endorse. That'll do it for us. It's been a quick Monday. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring about America. Thank you for not putting up with the crap that's happening in Los Angeles.
Maybe elsewhere later today.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on it.
Do not put up with it. Do not tolerate it. And do not allow those who are running your cities tolerate it. Do not let them off the hook. Hold their feet to the fire, and we'll do the same thing. 9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999, 8779 Southern. SouthernExteriors.co for Los and Jeray. I'm Tug. Y'all come back now, you hear?
Live and local news talk continues at 3 p.m. with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's the Kimmer Show, only on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.